Let's dive in, shall we? Are you both able to interact at a high level today?
I
Um,
can't, I can't commit to a high level, but I can commit to here. Sorry.
same,
No
I
here.
worries.
I do have a conference call I'll be taking at around 2, so I'm good until then, and then I'll be back after that, I'm sure.
Sounds
And-
good.
I own a daycare, so I have 11 kids to keep alive, and right now
Oh my
I'm sitting with
gosh.
one who's trying to learn how to go potty. So
Oh
I
my
think a
gosh.
lot of people join late to these, it seems too, so.
Yep. Yeah, no problem if you have to go or check out, but I'm just going to kind of cruise through here and focus on the materials more today than I have on other days, because my other ignites that you've seen me do have been super interactive,
Mhm.
and at least I think. So I'll just try to stick more to the material this time too. So,
Okay.
Jody, have you had me in an ignite before?
I don't think so, no. This is my
Okay.
first time doing Ignite, and I've been trying to come to as much as I can. I do have a full-time job, so
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying. I wanted to do this class, though, this training, so I've been trying to, pop on when I can.
Well, this is a good one to do, and thanks for tuning in. Open houses are super important for my business and for the business of other agents I work with. Jody, tell me about a little bit about your career in real estate so far.
Yeah, so I work with my sister as a team, Gina Duggan. She actually would normally be on here, but she had surgery on her finger today, so she couldn't be here. But we work as a team. This is our 4th year.
Okay.
And actually, speaking of open houses, we just had a listing go live on Friday, and we just held an open house on Saturday. So
Awesome.
nice and fresh with the open house that we just had.
Indeed. I
Yeah.
try to do an open house every weekend if I can. I've got a pretty high goal for open houses this year, but we can get to that later. Jody, so have you been actively licensed and selling real estate for 4 years?
Yes. We're in our
Okay.
4th year, yes.
Good for you. That's awesome. And Beth, can you remind me? I don't have my board where I wrote it all down. Can you remind me about your experience level in the industry?
pretty much nil. I'm brand new.
Yeah.
Got licensed during the pandemic, and then hung my license with KW like the last day of 2020. And
Nice.
then have since joined the Voz Harwood team,
That's right.
which wasn't my plan, but I am also wasn't in the plan, but I am closing my childcare business down on July
Really?
2nd. Yeah, and just trying to jump into real estate full time.
Wow.
My life plan with my husband was to do that when he retired from the state, which is not for another 4 years, but I just kind of think that I've given my best self to this job. And
Yeah.
really, like, the last year really took it out of me with the pandemic. And at one point I had 10 kids distance learning.
Wow.
And now I only have 5, but it's still a lot.
Yeah.
And I was really drawn to the messaging of the Voz Harwood team, and it really aligns with
Beth.
kind of, yeah. Hello?
Sorry, internet connection unstable, but I think I'm getting you. You aligned well with the Voz Harwood team.
Yeah,
based
and
on-
it to me, like, I didn't think that I could live my authentic self through real estate, because everybody that I know that's in real estate is kind of chasing the bag, so to speak.
Huh.
So to hear them use the words that they use in their mission statement and the kind of people they
Yeah.
want to help really spoke to me. And I just don't know if that kind of opportunity would be there for me 4 years from now, so I'm jumping in, and
Good deal.
I'm living a life of regret for like the last week. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? Right.
Really?
So I'm kind of in a bad headspace. Yeah, I think I'll go through this because I'm taking so long to shut down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
going to have all this doubt.
You're
Well,
kind of forming is right in front of you every day.
Yeah, I would say I admire you for jumping right in, because Gina and I, that's been our goal for 4 years, is to do real estate full time. And it's just scary to let go of your full-time job. So we just haven't made that jump yet. I think we're just, waiting until we have so much saved up and this paid off. And it's like, you know, hopefully we'll get there, but you know, good for you for just taking that leap.
Right. And that is the way to do it. That's what I've had to do. And you know what? I saved up a bunch of money and it never felt like enough, you know?
Yes.
But the thing that really got me in my second, so back up, Jody, I was a realtor from the age of 18 through 23, back in 03 through 07. And then when the recession hit, I left sales and got into apartment management. And I was a salaried apartment manager for 6 years. And the thing that finally pushed me, you guys, you might find this funny, was when Trump was campaigning and early on, and my boss at the property management company, you know, political ideology aside, he was trying to get us all to change our minds if we weren't interested in Donald Trump being president. And love him or hate him, that was not for me. So that's why I quit and got back into real estate. I was saving, meaning to do it. And then that was the final push I needed. So it's kind of funny, isn't it?
That is.
It's weird how the last 4 years have impacted so many people so differently, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's a Trump caveat in my story too that I'm not quite ready to share yet, but someday maybe.
Really?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's as good as you probably think it is, or bad.
Oh my gosh, I really want to hear about it. Well, yeah, come on in. Oh, we can go over there?
They want you. They want to.
Well, I'm teaching a class. There's no way.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
should we tell them?
Yeah. I don't think they know I'm teaching an Ignite class.
Yeah.
They're not getting me. It's a bad hair day anyway. All right, so are we cool being in this room?
Yeah, boy, is this where we're going? Sure.
No better option.
Okay.
However, how many of you, sorry, Beth and Jody, I'm chatting with our returning triumphant in-person guests.
Oh, that's okay.
Do you all have computers?
No. No.
No computers,
That's
okay.
right. And I just came from home and I would have brought it.
That's okay. I think I can use this one and just go like this. Jody and Beth, do you see our participants?
How are you? Good, how are you? Should we?
Hello.
Yes. Well, no. Yeah, I did.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay. Sorry, we're going to connect you to a TV. So we're just chatting about ourselves, reintroducing ourselves. And we have a guest, Jody, who I haven't done an Ignite with. So I kind of said a thing or two about myself. You may have came in when I was talking about Donald Trump. That was the boost I needed to quit my job and get back into real estate 5.5 years ago. So that was
They
kind
were
of funny.
pushing you forward again.
They were, my previous boss when I was salaried was trying to brainwash me into voting for Donald Trump. And I said, you know what? I quit. Because I had already been saving and intending to jump ship in for quite a while anyway. And Jody and Beth were talking about taking that leap of faith and how hard it is. So I was lucky in that I got that boost. But love him or hate him, Donald Trump can have that impact on you. So everybody's got their printouts?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, Carrie's got them.
I was gonna say Jordan would have some. She'll bring on my back.
Mhm.
We're talking about open houses, right?
Today, our topic is open houses. And I've deviated quite a lot in my previous classes. So today I'm going to challenge myself to really stay on course.
It's always good though, your deviation.
I appreciate that feedback.
Because it makes people's questions seem like they're important and they wouldn't be asking.
That's
if
true.
It wasn't important.
And I love Q&A and brainstorming too. Miss Jordan, they don't have their printout yet.
Oh, I have it. It's up at the
She
front
has
desk.
it, yep.
I will go grab it for you guys.
Today is the
16th.
16th. So Jody and Beth, sorry for the interruption. We're getting you plugged into a TV here, which it'll be hilarious for you to see what's going on right behind me
No worries at all.
on the screen. We're in a much smaller room today too. So today the focus is open houses and specifically using them for lead gen. They're gonna fall on my head.
No.
That would
I
make
don't
for a
break
great,
it.
great moment, wouldn't it?
Raise our hands if we see it going down.
Yeah, if you start to see
God.
it tipping on the pole.
I think it'll be too late at that point,
Well, that's true.
That'll be too
but I
far
appreciate
gone.
it.
That would be almost
So it says,
exciting and
Yeah, wouldn't it? It says here that
Once in a lifetime.
in the toolkit, there's a open house safety handout that you may or may not have looked at. It's pretty basic. It is what it sounds like. You know, open houses like showings can be, you know, there's a certain level of risk involved. Now she needs an extension cord. This is not,
This is fun, huh?
this is, oh, there's everything you need nearby.
Everything's amazing here.
Hey,
But
can
we'll
I
cover that on the slide.
add a question that's super random and hasn't, I don't know if it's come up and I've just missed it.
Okay.
My husband has a very interesting lens on the world. His life experience is very different than mine.
Mhm.
He works in corrections
Wow.
and he's constantly around like the worst people in the world. So it's really different than me, where I'm around 3-year-olds who are the best people in the world, well, maybe 4-year-olds. But you know what I mean? Like safety, like my husband and son, who's grown, both have their permit to carry. I grew up in a household where we did not have guns. We did not, my dad wasn't a hunter, like, and I also grew up with our own kids where I would never let my husband have a gun. So, I mean, not let him. My belief system was stronger than his, let's just say that. So now that our kids are growing gone and everything that happened in our city last year, I have caved on that belief system. And now my husband is like insisting that I go get this class and do a concealed carry thing.
Yep.
One of his big concerns is me being alone. And obviously the thing that happened last year to the Chris Lindahl, I'm sorry, I don't know her name.
Sorry,
but
Beth,
the
one
awful-
sec, we can't hear you. So sorry, we're trying to put the sound on the TV and it disconnected.
Go ahead, Beth.
Okay, which part where was I at? The whole thing?
Your husband is encouraging you to go take a concealed carry
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, and I am a life giver, right?
Yep.
I could never take a life no matter what. I could never and then one of his gravest concerns, like, the Chris Lindahl agent, and I'm sorry, I can't honor her by knowing her name, but the woman who was killed, that was a real estate agent last year, obviously brought all of that back to the forefront. And he really thinks that that's possible. And then lately I've been going on nighttime showings, 8:45 at night, with the market being what it is. And how are other women, Paul, I know how are other women in the room or on the call handling either their spouse's fears or your own fears for yourself? Or do you feel safe? Like, I feel probably ignorantly safe. Like, I think I'm always fine. And like, my husband thinks that I need to have my head on swivel more, and I need to be more aware of where I'm going and who I'm meeting. And can anybody speak to that?
Well, we have all women with us today. So does anyone Jody, do you have anything to contribute to that?
Well, so like I mentioned earlier, I work with my sister as a team. So that obviously helps tremendously. And we say often, I couldn't imagine doing this by myself. I wouldn't want to do this by myself, open houses, everything, showings. It's just really nice to have each other.
So you go on showings together,
We
or
do everything that we can together.
Wow.
One of us isn't available, just one of us will go, but that's pretty rare. We pretty much do everything together. But she, it's kind of like your husband and me. I was the way you were, kind of, against guns. I wouldn't want a gun in my house. I'm not interested in, taking the courses on conceal and carry, because I wouldn't ever touch a gun. Where she just actually got her conceal and carry not too long ago. So she talks about how she'd like to, bring that with us, but we really don't feel a need because we're together. But if we weren't, I think it's probably an option. It's just kind of, what you choose to do, what your own feelings are on it. But I guess you just always have to put those, every safety precaution that you can in place, because, things do happen, which you've obviously heard of. So I don't know if that helps or not, but that's, my thoughts on it.
You bring up a good point in that having a buddy system is super helpful in reducing crime of all types, whether it's walking home from the bus or going to the mall. Let's open it up to our studio audience.
Well, I was just gonna say, hi. I am very kind of concerned about it as well, especially that's why I'm nervous about door knocking. That it's a worry of mine, I will say. And so it helps to also be on a team with my mom, that we could do it together. But yeah, that is a concern. And I think I'll probably invest in some pepper spray.
Yeah, I
At
was
a
gonna
minimum.
say,
Yeah,
that's a route I would take.
we are like very much not gun people, like very liberal, very like,
I was thinking pepper spray.
yeah, but yeah,
That's as far as I go personally.
yeah. But I think just also, I mean, it's unfortunately something as women that we have to think about. And
You guys, one thing what I found out in the last year, you say I'm very liberal, like, so is my husband. Like, and so we found out almost every one of our neighbors had weapons in their house. Right. So, I mean, I don't think it's an ideology necessarily. I don't know. It just, for us, like my awareness of, like you say, door knocking or whatever, like I worked the census last year as an enumerator, and how unnerving it was. Because when I applied for the census job, it was before all that happened. And then how unnerving it was to approach doors of people that I don't know, even though they would be on my own block, right? And I just think, yeah, it's like I'm getting, the more I think about it, and as the weather breaks nicer and we talk more and more about flyering or door knocking, yeah, I don't know.
I think it's valid, Beth, very valid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that we table this topic for later, because we do cover some of the tips and tricks from KW that can help facilitate like an escape route, pre-arrival open house setup for safety too, which is really cool. And a lot of it applies to showings as well. I will say this though, you're right in that a lot of left-leaning liberal and Democrats in general own firearms. Beth, I would say that if you have no interest in it and know that you couldn't do it, then having a firearm on you is a huge liability. You'd be more likely to have it used against you than to use it yourself. And your husband probably knows that. So yeah, but that's a very good question. Let's move along. Thank you for the input. Pepper spray, by the way, is highly effective. I know what it's like to get hit with that stuff. It is terrible. Yep. So let's just take a second and have a couple of cleansing breaths, and then we're going to get into a little bit of Q&A. I'm going to call on everyone and ask a quick, easy question about what you've gotten out of Ignite so far. Okay, so that was kind of a heavy topic. A horrible thing did happen to an agent last year, and unfortunately, there's a lot of that around the country every year, and we do put ourselves in a unique situation. But thankfully, it's extraordinarily rare. And there's a lot you can do to control it. So everyone, let's just kind of reset the mood here a little bit. A couple of deep breaths, and we'll get back into a positive mindset. Not that that was negative, but we will come back to that later. I want to focus initially on the incredible opportunity that open houses present. And I'm lucky enough to have an in-person small class here today where I've done opens now with 2 of the 3 in the room, and the other third, Jeannie actually held one of my condos listings open just the other weekend as well, and we chatted a lot. She did great. They all did great. So some in-person direct experience. And Beth, I believe you did an open house with the mother-daughter team here a few weeks ago. Is that true?
Yeah, sorry.
Nope, no worries. Okay. Excellent. Well, I know that they learned from that too. They were very grateful, and it sounds like it was successful. We had a crazy open house at my listing on Ivy the other weekend, which we'll be referring to throughout. But let's just take a quick moment of positivity and gratitude. I'm going to call on everyone to just mention one thing you've taken away from Ignite so far that you're thankful for. Can I start with you, Beth? What is one thing in Ignite so far that sticks with you that you're happy you heard or learned or realized? Yep. Beth, we're coming back to you, okay? Janet, are you there? You're a joiner.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Janet, what is one thing you've learned or are grateful for through Ignite so far?
You know, it has motivated me a lot to reach to my sphere. So I was kind of like, I know that I'm supposed to do it, but sometimes I don't do it. But now after this, I've been doing it more often, and I can see, already some results. So I'm glad that I'm taking these classes, and I'm getting more motivated. And
Super
thank you.
duper. That's a huge one for me when I do Bold or Ignite myself or Family Reunion. Man, can it motivate the crap out of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
seriously.
Well, let's open it up to our studio audience here. For some reason, I always rotate this way, so we're going to start with this one.
Okay. Hi. I am grateful for, I guess, the timeline that this has happened in, I guess. It was like the perfect time for us to do Ignite, and it kind of gave us the foundation to like really build our team off of and to kind of get going in this business. I don't think I would have had any clue what I was doing if I didn't have like the consistency of Ignite and, the direction it gave us.
Superb. Jeannie.
What I'm really getting out of this is, even if I've done parts of it Ignite previously or had similar classes, it's amazing how much you could still learn, either reinforcement or something brand new, because each instructor or fellow students in the class really everyone has something to offer, whether they're brand new or they're very experienced agents. So it's wonderful.
Couldn't agree more. Susie.
I'm trying to think of one thing. I mean, there is a lot to look back on, but I would second what Elizabeth said. For us, it's been a great timing wise and really practical knowledge. And it's been fun to get, like Jeannie said, to get to know some of the other students in the class and some of the other, the agents here at the Market Center and stuff. We're teaching it. And then I would say one, the importance of script work, I think is really important. That's one thing I'm trying to, one practical thing that we should do every day.
Super.
All right.
Well done. Man, you've been on camera twice now.
Yeah.
I hope that you weren't traumatized earlier. Hey, Beth, are you with us?
I am.
Beth, what's one specific thing for your business you've learned, taken away from Ignite or are grateful for?
I'm grateful for community. I think I've met just a lot of people through these particular sessions, and have been able to connect offline. So other than I share the same value that the other people mentioned.
Awesome. Do we have Lidra Yang available?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
I think, I would definitely agree with what everyone said. And also just, I think getting to talk about like the uncomfortable or maybe like different practices that everyone might not be super used to. I think just like being surrounded by that and having that to relate on really like has pushed me to like reach out to more people and like be more motivated to market my business in different ways too. So.
Right on. Can I just add to that, Lidra, and say that back to something I said in a previous Ignite class, the idea of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, it ends up getting comfortable. And if it doesn't, drop it. But the key is to try new things, just like you said. So I love that. And you'll try new things that you think you hate, and you'll end up really liking them and seeing results. And guess what? Open house is that thing for a lot of people. I've met some newer agents recently who, in my quest to add team members to the Odd Couple team, who have told me straight up, I don't want to do open houses. And it wasn't because of COVID either. It was just this idea that they'd be crushed in a throng of people they don't know, and they'd seize up or something like that. Kind of interesting. I wish those people that I've met recently were in this class right now. Martha, do we have you available? Do we have Jody Garcia?
Yes, I'm here.
Jody, did you start us out?
No,
No.
not on this topic, no.
Yeah, you did an earlier one.
Yeah.
Well, what have you taken from Ignite?
Yeah, I agree with everything that everybody has said so far. I also feel that same way. And I think the one thing that I wrote down and that Gina and I added to our calendar is just to go over some of the different scripts that are in KW Connect.
Yeah.
Something that we just have never really done or put into practice at all. So that's something that we're going to implement. So that day was really educational about scripts.
Yeah, I actually tried to teach that course because I am a huge script believer. I don't do it as much as I should. Do you have a specific script that you found most useful?
No, we just have it written down to go over it, and I guess they're in KW Connect, so I just have it written down that we need to find them and figure out which ones we like and want to, practice weekly or how often we're going to do it. So
we're actually going to script today, okay?
What's that?
We are actually going to script today, and the way it's going to start out, don't get scared, is I'm literally going to be like the minister doing the vows. I am Paul Olson. Say that. I am Paul Olson. We're going to do it like that. I'll say a sentence and you'll just repeat it back. Okay. We'll do that later on. It's the easiest way as an intro to scripting.
Yeah,
So
that sounds a lot less intimidating.
what's that?
Sounds less intimidating than
You just have to repeat words. Okay.
easy enough.
Well, I'm going to keep moving along here. So what is the purpose of an open house? We kind of covered this in a previous class that I taught for those who are still here. Obviously, an open house is viewed by many people as a benefit for the seller, and it is. But in today's market, it's largely symbolic. We are marketing ourselves at the open house along with the house. And so the real focus of our time together today is how to lead generate at an open house so that we can maintain a steady stream of business. I recently met with a potential new recruit for the Odd Couple team over the weekend in person. And this person is about 3 months into the business, and I won't name names, but it's all fine. This person's great. However, they haven't really been able to uncover a single solid lead yet. And I'll tell you what, if I was 3 months in and I was grinding away and I didn't have a single lead, I'd be questioning my reality a little bit. There was a moment before he revealed that to me where I asked him about his goals, and I said, I think you could double that in your first year. And I wasn't just saying that because people say that as like an immediate response to any number they get in coaching. I disagree with that. The thought of doubling my workload right now somehow would send me into the grave. But in this case, this guy has the potential and he could easily double his goal, but he hasn't uncovered a single lead yet. So I brought up open houses, and I referred to our Ivy open house that 2 people in the classroom today were there helping me with. And the fact that we probably uncovered 6 solid pieces of business, solid leads, ranging from at least a C+ to probably an A- that you 2 got, even though,
She has another.
What?
Yep.
Okay, well, we're not going to focus on I guess okay, so that's a good point though. A lead is graded on their motivation, right? An A buyer, for example, versus a C buyer. A C buyer is very much in the background, hunting for just the perfect one here or there. You might not hear from them in a whole quarter, whereas an A buyer needs to move within X amount of months, right? Well, it's the same thing with open house leads. Whether we get them or not, whether we end up closing a sale with them or not, whether they have a realtor or not, they walk in with a grade. They're there for a reason. Our job is to suss out that reason, capitalize on it for their benefit and yours. So I've heard that this amazing lead that I would have given an A- to has another realtor. She was with us at the open house for 45 damn minutes and didn't say that. Kind of bizarre.
I know.
So I'm wondering.
We had basically an appointment scheduled with her.
Basically closed in an appointment with her that day or shortly thereafter. And I don't know, I still think she is an A- lead. It's just that maybe it's for a different agent, you know?
Well, she had contacted the agent that morning.
Mhm.
And then hadn't heard back until after we opened. So she found.
We'll chat about that. We'll chat about that.
Yeah.
Bottom line is she is going to buy, sell within the next year or two. And I'm not going to completely
We're not
dismiss
writing
her
her
just
off.
yet.
We're
No,
not.
good deal. We're not writing her up. So all this to say that this guy I met with who was very hesitant to do open houses, and he has yet to uncover a single lead in his business. Gosh, talk about the idea of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and hoping it clicks. Open houses are one of the, you know, shots of adrenaline that you can get into your pipeline. I'm working some leads off that open house that could convert. So bottom line is an open house should be considered a gold mine, unless nobody shows up, which even today still happens, whether it's weather or just a tough spot in a neighborhood that people generally avoid. I don't know, but or both, but the vast majority, or the co-open house agent has a broken ankle. The bottom line is the majority of open houses these days have great traffic. It wasn't that way back in even 05, 06 when the market was hot. I used to do open houses on the east side of St. Paul. And, you know, an okay open house was 1 or 2 or 3 parties through. Even though that was a seller's market, it was far more balanced with buyers. Buyers were more choiceful back then than they are now. So open houses are a hot commodity. Get them while you can. So to recap, the most basic thing we've covered so far, what's the purpose of an open house? Lidra, can I call on you? Possibly not. Janet? Killing me. You're killing me, people.
I know.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Market the house and market yourself. Are you trying to give us the answer you told us earlier?
Yep, just trying to reinforce it. See who's paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, good job, Beth. That's exactly right. It's a double-edged sword, and I would say that it's a 30-70. I primarily do open houses at my own listings, so I do want to do that for my seller. I do want to hold it open for all the agents who couldn't book a showing. It's another big thing. They'll use the open house if they're smart to get in and see it. But my main focus is to keep that pipeline fed, to water the garden, as they say. So your goal in holding an open house is not just to sell the house, it's to put yourself in the path of opportunity with future prospects. And if you look on your screen or on the TV, how do we manage our everyday business? Our focus every day should be on growing and running our business. Once again, most realtors focus too much on the running and not enough on the growing. And why is that? Well, when you think about what a realtor does, and you make a list or you pull 100 people off the street, what does a realtor do? They show houses, they write contracts, they negotiate, they do this and they do that. They know about houses, they help with inspections. You won't hear squat from the average person about lead gen or prospecting or even really some of the other things we'll cover today, like prepping open houses and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes as you prepare for an open house. So the focus today is on growing the business, and that's really the main everyday job of a realtor. The other stuff, as I've said before, is just an aspect of it. It sort of blossoms out from that root. So why open houses? Why are open houses a great way to prospect? Does anybody want to speak up and share some ideas? Jeannie?
You meet people there is to look for a home.
You meet people who are purportedly looking for a home, active buyers. Yep. Anybody else? Guess who I'm swiveling to?
And they may not have an agent.
Oh, Susie.
What's that? Say
They
that
may
again.
be agentless.
Agentless.
Yeah. Is
That's
that
a
word?
fun way to say it. It is now, dang it.
Yeah. You know, so they need us. We need to save them
Why do they need us?
because we will do good work for them
No?
and give them good, coming from contribution.
That's right. I hope everyone caught that off of Zoom. It was said in the classroom here that people coming into an open house who don't have an agent, who are looking for a home, they need us. Why do they need us? Because this is the largest financial transaction of their damn lives, frankly. And there's a lot of bad realtors out there who could bungle the job. And we're not going to do that, are we? Excellent. Any other ideas as to why open houses are great for an agent?
This is maybe a smaller reason, but you get to know a different neighborhood maybe,
Mhm.
and the people who are coming through, and even if they're not interested in this particular one, again, I just get an idea of the demographics of the area.
Sure. Excellent point. Doing an open house, especially if it isn't your own listing, which is common and encouraged, can really help you get to know the sort of character of a neighborhood, which arms you for future interactions with buyers and prospects and sellers. Super. Well, there's other reasons that open houses are great, and we're going to put a couple of them on the screen. We've got the fact that they are basically free to hold, that they've got a high ROI for reasons we've discussed with the studio audience here today. There's qualified leads coming in from one listing. In other words, it's not scattershot all over the earth. It's a concentrated sort of destination. And of course, it's a productive way to meet buyer and seller leads. And note the seller part there. That's often overlooked. You've got people in the neighborhood visiting, like we saw at our open on Ivy just the other weekend. We had a gentleman come in with his daughter. He said about 10 years ago, I think, he had bought right across the alley, and he's looking to upgrade. And oh my gosh, are you guys actually going to get this price? Property was listed for $265, I believe. It's my own listing, I should know.
Yeah.
And we had 12 offers, and we're pushing way higher than that. I can't discuss it because it isn't closed yet, but man, is that shocking for the neighbors when you have a great house for sale and you achieve a new sort of record or high watermark in the neighborhood. Boy, do they want to know about it, because their house is probably quite similar, right? So high exposure is another one. If you've got your sign in the yard, especially, that's your name in the neighborhood. Well, what if you did a pre-listing door knocking campaign or flyering campaign or a mailing campaign? Now they've seen your name on the sign. They've seen your name with the open house. They've seen your name with pre-market materials being delivered, however you want to do that, or a door knock. And then after you sell the house, you can follow up with another campaign. So think of it as maybe like an 8-touch campaign pre, during, and after, spread out probably over 2 months, especially in the summer and spring months. You're going to really rattle some cages with your name in the neighborhood. And that is called circle prospecting. And an open house is one of the easiest ways to knock on a door and do some of that circle prospecting. And that's the script we'll be doing later, which I've said in a previous Ignite class. It's very simple. But before we do that, let's chat about the National Association of Realtors 2019 profile of home buyers and sellers, which stated that 51% of all buyers used an open house as a source of information in their home search, which is great news for us agents, because what that means is they're basically exposing themselves to us as an opportunity to capture their business. So I don't like that they just put 51% of all buyers used an open house as a source of information. What about all the neighbors who are curious about their value coming through, like we just talked about? That's a seller coming through your open house, treating your open as a source of information. And it happens all the time. It happens on almost every single open house you do in a residential neighborhood of single family homes, especially, maybe not so much condos. You've got neighbors coming through to measure their property against the listing, and they're watching that price. And I'll tell you what, if you can deliver that price to them later on at their doorstep or through a print campaign, that'll drive it home even more, especially if you achieved a good result on the sale, which lately is basically a guarantee if you do your job right. So once again, what is our number one job as agents in terms of our daily activities? We got lead gen. Any more guesses?
Prospecting.
Prospecting, similar.
Grow the business.
Growing that business. Anybody on Zoom?
All people.
Solange, are you there? Am I saying that name? Solange? Well, the answer is all of the above. Yeah, you're all correct. Open houses are probably the least expensive way to do that. I mean, if you're door knocking and putting flyers on doors, there's an associated cost with that. I suppose you could say the cost of gas or electricity in your car to get to and from. Big whoop. I mean, especially if you live within 5 miles, which seems like in the Twin Cities we all do. So, but I want to remind everyone, as Jeannie proved, as everyone here in classroom physically proved, you don't need to have your own listing to do an open house. Beth, when you did an open house with Elizabeth and Susie, whose listing was that?
Colleen Healy.
There you go. And Jeannie did my condo open house the other weekend. How hard was it, Jeannie? What was that like? Can you tell me about the process of securing that open house and doing it?
Well, see, I don't, to me, a lot of it's just common sense too. I mean, you do the obvious things. The condo was a little bit different than others I've done, because a condo, you need to have access inside the building, and then access to the unit itself. But that, we're able to work that out. The process beforehand was, just felt familiar with the property, with through the MLS, and arrived plenty early to scope out the neighborhood and put up signs, and made sure my signs made sense. Just tried to psych myself up. I did not do door knocking beforehand because I was assuming that was done, because this was the second day. And then it ended up being just fine, and it was a very nice property too, for the price, and people were very excited. I think my day, I didn't have a ton of people. I think most of them might have come the day before. Also had the brochures were you already had the information, but I had made some just in case. I didn't think of asking, but that was okay.
That's fine.
And then the sign-in sheets, try to be, pay attention to the details, such as the sanitizer and the whole works, because some people, and rightfully so, it's very, very important. So.
Yeah, we should talk about COVID with open houses, because there's so many ways to do it. Yeah, so Jeannie unfortunately had the day 2 of the open house weekend at that condo that I listed. It was opening weekend, which is the best time for open houses. I was there on Saturday and mine was bonkers, and she was there Sunday and still had 3 parties through. Some were represented, it sounds like, but
They all were. And
They all were.
I think because of the questions they were answering, they weren't telling me a line, or
yeah,
questions they were asking, they weren't telling me a line. I believe, I think there was a total of 3, maybe 4 different parties, and a couple of them seemed quite interested, but it's
Yeah.
hard, you don't know for sure.
you don't know for sure. There's a terrible old saying in our industry that I hate, and I shouldn't even say it, but it is true to some degree. I'm sure you can guess. It's the old saying that buyers are liars, especially in Minnesota. Nobody wants to offend each other, so they're going through the house and they might not be interested, but they'll act like they are. That's a common thing that we should possibly chat about if we have time. Somebody can remind me to do that if that strikes your fancy. Great, yeah. So Jeannie had, unfortunately, all represented people coming through the open, and she believes that they were not just feeding her a line. And that does happen, especially with how crazy showing activity is. People will come to the open instead of trying to set up a tour with their agent, which is fine. But I think that is a unique situation where
Yeah, and
all of them were.
the open house, that Sunday one was added after the Saturday one, and so people may have had it set in their mind.
Yeah,
that Saturday.
I
was
got to
the
get
day.
the Saturday one. Jeannie brings up a great point, which is a super phenomenal segue right into our new slide with the peace symbol, right? Talking about guns and defense earlier. Well, how about a little peace on your screen? The preparation for her open house at this condo that we've been chatting about was not ideal because it was, but still worth doing and fine. It was a situation where it was kind of a late idea. We didn't have a ton of time to prepare for it, and there was still decent traffic. So let's get into that. Basically, the idea here behind this slide is that there's a very simple system to having a successful open house, and it can be broken down into 3 segments, which of course you can see: prepare, prospect, and pursue. That's the model. So by prepare, we mean basically set it up for success. By prospect, we mean promote it and then host it. And pursue, it's kind of an aggressive word, almost sounds like hunting, but it is like hunting. These people are kind of like innocent little game that wander through under our deer stand, if you will. Only we're not trying to kill them, we're trying to help them. You know what I mean? So following up as you pursue a lead, following up and converting it is arguably just as important as meeting them there. The meeting enables the follow-up. It's very difficult to lock a lead that comes into your open house in for an appointment. Hard to lock them into an appointment at the actual open, especially if it's a busy open house. But it does happen. But the majority of the time it happens during follow-up, right? And so we'll get to you guys later for follow-up with your example. That'll be fascinating to hear what happened. So let's dive into these. There's a little warning here about realtors who call people on the do not call list can get nailed with a $10,000 fine. If you look through, so don't call anyone on if you don't scrub your list with anything we're recommending in terms of preparing for an open or following up if they're on the do not call list. Now, there is an important little thing to note on that. By signing into your sheet, it can be argued that they're giving you permission to call them. And texting is technically on the do not call thing too, but I've found that texting is a more safe icebreaker than a call on a lot of these ones. So I usually do that, but your mileage may vary. So KW has, question from the audience. Here we
Sorry,
go.
just a quick question. Should we put a disclosure on the sign-in sheet, like a little something that says we will be calling you to save our asses?
That is, yeah, I like how you put that, to save our asses. That's great. That's something that you could definitely incorporate into your sign-in sheet. Yeah, a little disclaimer at the bottom stating that by signing in, they are authorizing us to contact them with updates about the property and or others. such that it doesn't have to be sort of a threatening sounding fine print. It could be very like beneficial to them. You could use fine print that basically says, by signing in here, you are authorizing us to update you on the status of the property. And then when you do contact them, you just make sure that that's how you open. And then the conversation can go anywhere you want. You fulfilled your legal duties by having it that way. That's a good point. I've never done that, but I think it'd be pretty rare to find someone who tries to sue you when they sign in on a condo open house guest sheet and put their phone number down. I don't think they have much of an argument there. So again, extraordinarily rare circumstance, but a good way to cover your tail. So let's get into these three things. Once again, prepare, prospect, pursue. Obviously, preparation would be the first one in the sequence. Once you decide to host an open and you've selected the open, promotion generally starts, I'd say, 4 to 7 days out. Maybe you could make an argument that 7 would be better, but I think that in today's day and age, with how inundated everyone is with technology, I don't know, I think a little closer to the actual date might help people not forget it. Your mileage may vary once again, but you could even say it could start earlier if you're going to campaign a little bit for it. So on this model, on Monday, we're going to select our location and time, whether that's your own listing or someone else's in the market center. And by the way, it doesn't even have to be the market center. We've got what, 200 some agents in our market center? Around 200, I think. Could be wrong. Or maybe more.
And I think it's a little bit less, but it's getting closer and closer to 200 from what I've seen.
Okay, 190-ish maybe?
I'm thinking.
Well, that sounds like a lot of agents, but a ton of them aren't with a listing at any given time. So not only could the market center provide opportunities for an open, but reach out to Uptown Lake's office if you're really hungry for a listing open house or want a fresh one. We're all KW here. If they give you attitude, that'd be shocking, right? I've never done that, but by all means. So select your open house time, get that locked in with the listing agent or yourself on Monday. And on Tuesday, and this is what our team does, post that sucker online and get it in the MLS. The MLS feeds all the other IDX sites like Trulia, Zillow, HomeSnap, etc. And it'll show up on their sites too, if people know where to look. And they're saving a search with your property in it, they should see the open house. And that is tremendous coverage across the internet. Also on Tuesday, generate your call list. Now you can take that to mean anything. You could say, okay, I've decided to door knock 10 houses to the left, 10 houses to the right, and 12 houses in front. You could do whatever you want. They're saying here, call 25 neighbors. Adhere to the do not call list. Frankly, I think 25 is a bit low. You could bang out 25 doors in no time. If you're going to drive all the way out there, why not do 50? Why not do 100? Usually I'll set a goal when I do this for 100. I'm going to challenge anyone on Zoom listening in right now. Does that sound, let's say you've decided to host an open house in East St. Paul on Ivy Avenue, and you're setting a goal to call or door knock neighbors to invite them. Does 100 neighbors sound like a lot? Go ahead and pipe in with your opinions. Anyone on Zoom?
Can you explain to me, like I'm a third grader, what that flyer would look like?
Yeah. Well, if you're a third grader, I speak to Baby Link. No, I'm kidding. That's terrible for kids to do that. The flyer that I would hand out specifically for door knocking and open house would say in big dark red KW color on the top, "You are invited!" exclamation mark. And then the one I use has a giant middle of the page picture of the home. And then in larger print as well, underneath that picture, it'll say the address, just listed, Exciting, right? And then open house times under that. So super simple, Beth. You're
Okay, and then what
Yep.
the agent listed on that, would that be me as the showing agent or the listing agent? Or
That's you.
nothing?
That's you, Beth. You're under
Thank
no
you.
obligation to put the listing agent on there.
So even our picture.
Yeah, that's confused me.
Go ahead.
too. Yeah, that's confusing.
It is?
Mhm.
All right,
I
so,
thought you gotta honor the listing agent with that stuff.
That's
Right.
why you need to explain it to us like we're third graders, Paul.
okay, sorry,
Yeah,
yep.
he's trying.
I take things for
We
granted.
should go down, maybe first grade.
Yeah, first kindergarten.
So I just want to remind you all of one fundamental fact when we take a listing as realtors. It's the brokerage that has the listing, not actually us.
Ah, okay.
And the agent has given you permission to host an open, and you're allowed to promote that open house. So the flyer isn't actually selling the house. It's an invitation to the open house.
Okay, and do you do that through command or do you just make your own?
My team has templates we use, but I know that there's many others out there in the KW work stream, if you will. But really, honestly, the flyer I've described can be generated in 6 minutes in Microsoft Word. It is so simple. And then, yeah, at the bottom, I've got my email signature, which has all my info. And I always try, you should definitely write this down, everyone. I always try to do the fair housing logo and non-discrimination stuff on the bottom of all my marketing material. I believe that is technically required on all advertisements and marketing material. Great question, Beth. I have no awareness of any requirement anywhere that would say that you are required to put the listing agent's name, phone number, picture, or anything on such a flyer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but great question. If anyone specifically knows of something otherwise, please let me know. Very good. So once again, Monday we decide to do the open. Tuesday we post it online and we decide to call or door knock around it if that's something we want to do or have time for. Wednesday, they're saying we're gonna stick a sign in the yard. How interesting is that? Has anybody on Zoom, Lidra, Janet, Martha, Jody, Solange, held an open house where you put the sign up in advance of the open house?
I think that's really confusing as a consumer.
It is, yeah. But that doesn't mean it's a bad idea. Okay, we got some no's. Oh, today Martha's a listener. Okay, that's fine. Martha, sorry I keep calling on you. Just saw your text. It is confusing, Beth. And I have done it. And anytime I do it, can you guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang a rider from the sign that says open house Saturday noon to 2. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use only 1 or 2 signs. We're not talking posting them all over the neighborhood. One busy street nearby is fine for me on that. What you're doing is building up some tension in the marketplace for your listing, for your open, sorry. And yeah, if people are pulled from White Bear Avenue by an open house sign on a Wednesday to a few blocks west of there on Ivy or east of there on Ivy, and they see the sign open house Saturday noon to 2, they're going to put it together in their head. It's going to be pretty clear to them based on no cars out front, no buzz in the neighborhood too. So I'm okay with that, but your mileage may vary. They are recommending it here from KW though. The other thing they're recommending on Wednesday, in addition to putting a sign there, by the way, you could put a sign in the yard to mean hang a rider from the listing as well. If you don't have a rider, get a blank one with the 2 clips and some 3-inch wide clear tape and just print in giant red letters, open house Saturday noon to 2, and tape the son of a gun on there. That's simple. Does it look like crap? Not really. once you get up close to it, you can tell what's going on, but it's just there to serve a purpose. It's not like we have to be like super careful about every detail. We're providing a service of an open house. People viewing the sign and chasing it over to see that rider are interested in the open house. So I don't have any qualms about that. If you don't want to pay for a custom rider to say Saturday, blah, blah, blah. Our team does have 100 of those riders sitting in a drawer that we can pull out. And it says open house Saturday blank to blank, and we have little magnets for the numbers. You can do whatever you want. So continue on with our timeline. On Thursday, they're telling us to each day post it online. Oh, sorry. The other Wednesday task was download the KW consumer app on your phone, which I've never done.
Really?
Never. And I'm proof that you don't need to, but you should, because it's a great resource. So that's a Wednesday task. Download the KW consumer app, put a sign in the yard. Thursday, post it online, post it online, post it online. Invite your database. Yeah, why not? That's a touch to your database, you guys. They don't care if they're not interested. They already know, like, and trust you, your database. They're familiar with who you are. Yeah, I'm doing an open house. You're invited. Who's going to get mad about that? If they're going to get mad about that, you don't want them in your life anyway, right?
Plus it shows that you're doing something, real estate.
Exactly. It shows that you're busy. It tells them where they can go to come chat with you about real estate on a certain day. It makes you available. It's an open door, you know, and we want that. And we want the touch too. Return yard sign calls is listed on Thursday. That's kind of cool. If anyone's calling you for information, a lot of the time it'll be agents calling you, hey, you know, this or that about the open. Do you have any offers? When are you looking at offers? Can we bring our buyers in on a showing during the open? Do you mind? No, come one, come all. That's great. It also says on Thursday, email property-based internet leads. Now, your open house will generate some online traffic potentially for the listing agent. And you should tell the listing agent earlier on in the process, it occurs to me, to go ahead and refer any calls about the open house to you. And that's something that the agent should be willing to do. So sign calls based on the signs you put up coming in on your open house, they're going to receive some of those. And ideally, they'll forward them on to you. Let that agent know that that's how you want it to go. Yeah, so listing agents get sign calls based on just the post sign in the yard. And their name is also attached to all of the internet marketing too, generally, because it's their listing and it's linked through the MLS. Let that agent know if you're hosting their listing open that you are highly receptive to any calls that come in for any lead asking about the open house that's coming up. Okay. Forward any open house calls, sign calls to you. Chances are if they're having you host their open, they would want that anyway, because what it tells me is that they view you holding it open as a bonus to them or a benefit to them in some way. Either they're too busy to do it themselves, they're out of town, or in the case of Jeannie at the condo she held open, yeah, I was there for Saturday. Sunday was a bonus. My seller loved it, by the way. He was very happy that we had two opens.
But is it even that is maybe worth a goodwill to the seller, which can spread to other people and referrals and what have you. So you just never know.
They say that rising tides raise all ships. The better our KW teammates do, the better we do, because there is a shared effect, not only in the marketing that gets out there, the extra marketing, the branding, but also just in the goodwill, like you said. I like that. So on Thursday, respond to any email or yard sign related calls or internet leads based on the open house, okay? Friday, post it online again. And this is phenomenal right here. Some people on the call here today know that I'm big on this. Prepare market stats and comps, print and digital. Because guess what? stuff sells quick. And the house you're having open might sell that same day. It's amazing to have backup comps and properties that are for sale in the neighborhood that are comparable to present to buyers who, crap, they couldn't make an offer on that house and it sold that day or that night, but they might be interested in this other listing. A really cool idea is if there's a great comp in the neighborhood, book a showing for right after your open house on it. This might sound familiar to some people. Book not a showing, a preview for yourself to see a local comp to your open house. That way, if a buyer lead comes in who's very committed to that area, you have the power, the Superman, Superwoman power to say, hey, by the way, this one just down the road on Arlington is very similar. Did you see that one online? Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, guess what? I could meet you there at 4 right after the open today. If you want to get through that, I've got a private showing booked just for me. How impressive is that? Proactive. So you could go ahead and find that comp on Friday if your open house is Saturday. And you could have it in the hopper. You could book that showing on the Friday or Thursday prior to the open house. But you also definitely want to know what's going on in that pocket because you're going to get a million questions from people typically. Hey, did you see such and such Van Buren? Did that sell right away? Yeah, actually, it says in the agent remarks they were multiples on day one, and I don't think the deadline allows us to even have the chance to put in an offer on that one anymore. So how about these other ones that appear to still be active? You just saved them some time looking at that other one because it's already had its offer deadline in, and you look smart and you look aware and you look dialed in. And that's huge because they're judging your ability to do your job when they come in the open house, whether they realize it or not. Saturday, let's see, in this model, are they saying that they're even doing the open house on Saturday? There's no indication here, is there? Is there? 7 days before the date.
Maybe it's Sunday.
It could be a Sunday open on this model, but you could substitute Saturday and still do all this on Saturday. Again, Saturday, post it online, get those directional signs out there, pulling from more streets, if you did it in advance as well, and door knock the neighborhood. It says here, use a script if they answer the door. And leave a flyer if they don't. Now, Beth, let's go back to your concern from earlier. I would never door knock after nightfall. And guess what? People are home nowadays to a degree unlike any ever before.
That's
Door
not your
knocking.
playing surface. That's Braxton's playing on that.
What's that?
Sorry, we're having tantrums over here.
I understand. I have tantrums too. So door knocking the neighborhood is very powerful right now due to COVID. And I've found in my experience that people are not angry if you show up knocking on their door due to COVID. Maybe 1 in 100 will be like, what are you doing? Well, that's changing daily. I think people are getting more comfortable. And you do step back. So let's just role play it real quick. We're going to knock on Susie's door. Susie.
The homeowner.
Here we go. Susie's
Right.
Mrs. Homeowner. So Susie is at home
In my pajamas.
in her pajamas. She's watching TV for crying out loud.
He does not. I do not watch TV.
Me
She
either.
doesn't. I don't have a TV.
Me either.
Woo!
Unbelievable.
All right, high five.
Susie, what is Susie doing at home?
I'm jumping rope in my living room.
Okay, get up and do that. No, I'm kidding.
It's sad because it's true.
Is it really?
Yeah, I do jump
Susie's
rope.
amazing.
Susie's crazy.
So everyone, Susie is the seller.
All right,
This is how simple this is.
wait, am I the seller or you're just door knock?
I refer to all
Oh, okay.
people sitting at home
All
as
right.
sellers because eventually they'll sell, right?
I have nothing to sell.
And this is the script. You do too. You've got real estate. So this is the script. We're all gonna role play in 5 minutes, okay? And by role play, don't get excited. I mean, we're just gonna repeat after me. This is the exact script. No, I have not practiced it in a while. I'm just winging it here. And Susie is the homeowner, okay? And Susie lives 3 doors down from the property I'm gonna hold open. All right, everyone? Deep breath. Here we go. We're knocking on Susie's door. It's unbelievable.
Mean.
How
I'm crabby.
how scary. She's so mean. She's got guns too.
Hello. Yeah.
You can't really see her. Okay, here's Susie's door. She jump roped right behind the door. There we go.
Oh.
Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do as she opens the door is get to 6 feet. And yes, I am masked when I door knock.
Okay, yep. You got it.
Susie was jumping
Stand
rope
there.
in a mask in her own home. That's,
No
that's
mask.
serious points right there.
All right.
Okay, so Susie has opened the door, and what did I do? I took a 3-foot step back, maintained social distance for COVID. Hi, my name is Paul Olson. I'm with Keller Williams, and you may have seen the sign go in the yard 2 doors down at 1770 Ivy Avenue.
Yeah, I did see that.
Awesome. You may have noticed my name on it. That's my listing. I'm selling the home for Alex and Jordan, the home sellers. And I'm personally inviting you to an open house on Saturday from noon to 2. Here's a flyer. And in this way,
You know.
in this way, you have the opportunity to choose your own neighbor. Do you think you'd be interested in coming to the open house?
Yeah, I'd love to snoop.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. I've
And would
always
you,
wondered. I heard they redone their house, and I've always wanted to see it.
yep, it's beautiful. A lot of the work was done right before they bought. They've got a new kitchen. And by the looks of it, you've got a fairly similar 1.5 story here. So do you
Yeah.
think it'd be worthwhile to stop by and check out what they've done?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm Paul. What's your name?
Susie.
Susie. Nice to meet you. I hope to see you Saturday.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks
Before
for
I
coming.
go, do you know
Yeah.
anyone who would be interested in moving into the area?
Not off the top of my head, but I can keep it in mind.
Why don't you think about that? And I'm sure, since you live here, you'd love for someone you know to move in 3 doors down.
Absolutely.
All right, Susie.
All right.
I know you were jump roping. I heard you jumping. No, I would not say that. Thank you. We'll see you Saturday at the open house,
Thanks
okay?
for coming by.
My pleasure.
Okay. How did I do? Good job.
You did
That's easy on
amazing.
that.
You did amazing. Okay. Were we following along on Zoom?
No one's there.
Is anyone with me? I know Beth is. Beth is amazing, but she's got tantrums to deal with.
Hi,
Oh, hi. Who said that?
that was me. I'm sorry, I couldn't answer. I was in the buying some grocery stores and grocery and at the store, and I was with my hands full. Sorry about it.
No problem. Janet, I would ask you to grade how I did there and be honest, because it wasn't very good. But
No, I love it and
how effective do you
That's-
think that would be?
very effective. And thank you, because we need to do that. I
Yeah.
have never done door knocking, so
I mean,
Okay.
I want.
I thought it was great.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, that's all you need.
Yes,
Susie, the homeowner, who I just door knocked, is literally telling me how short and sweet that was. And I think that is key.
Because you know I was doing something.
yes.
You know what I mean? You don't want to interrupt people, but you're giving us the information, you're
right.
making contact, and it wasn't pushy. It wasn't pushy.
It wasn't pushy is a huge key. It's friendly, it's short, it's sweet.
I like how the script presents it as a benefit to the person whose door is being knocked. Because I always
right.
look at it as a benefit to me as an agent, you know?
That is so key in everything we do. We have a habit in sales in general of making it about us. It's not about us. Nobody cares about us. What can you do for me?
Contribution.
Come from contribution. We hear that a million times a day at KW. It's so true. Otherwise, why should they listen to us? Oh, you're yet another realtor. Big whoop. What can you do for me? Well, I can get you in this house you've always wondered about. And not only that, when Susie visits my open house, I'm going to remember her. I'm going to remember that she was interested in seeing inside because she was interested in their remodel. And Susie has a similar house. So I'm going to start asking at the open house. I'm going to ask Susie about her house and how it compares. so that I can relate the sale process of the subject property to hers, because that's all she cares about.
Just like on ID, all those neighbors were like, remember that one came in
Yeah.
and said, I was gonna do this stuff on the second floor.
Totally.
At the same house, yeah.
People are so curious about the return on investment they can get from home improvements, like Susie just mentioned. At our open house on Ivy, we fielded questions about that. And we were able to add value to people's lives by doing a miniature consultation right then and there. Hey, the ROI on getting that second bathroom in a one bathroom house is huge. It's more than XYZ. It's flashier than a new roof that you don't actually need, but you're worried about. Things like that. So that was our little door knock. We're gonna do a very quick role play, repeat after me, and then we're gonna break. That'll be your reward for scripting with me today, is a little 10-minute break, okay? So everyone on Zoom, whether you are using your mic or not, or whether you can speak or not, just mouth the words, okay? Repeat after me. Are you ready?
All of us?
Everyone, all at once.
Okay.
Repeat after me. Knock, knock, knock.
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there? Just kidding. Door opens. What's the first thing we do? We take a big step backwards because it's COVID. And that makes us less threatening. Hi, my name is Paul.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth.
Excellent. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams.
I'm a realtor with Keller Williams.
And
Like a cult.
it is culty, isn't it? But we're doing it anyway. And I am holding an open house
And I am holding an open house
at XYZ Main Street just down the road,
at XYZ Main Street, just down the road,
Saturday noon to 2.
Saturday noon to 2.
And I'd like to personally invite you to it.
And I'd like to personally invite you to it.
There you go. One more time, only longer now. Knock, knock, knock.
Knock, knock, knock.
Hi, I am XYZ and I am with Keller Williams.
Hi, I am Jean Elizabeth, and I'm with Keller Williams.
And I'm hosting an open house at 123 Main Street on Saturday, noon to 2.
And I'm hosting an open house at 123 Main Street from Saturday from noon to 2.
All right, one more time. We're doing great. This time, the whole thing. So wait for me, okay? Knock, knock. Hi, I'm Paul with Keller Williams. I'm a realtor, and I'm hosting XYZ Main Street just down the road, open from noon to 2. Saturday. Oh, I bumbled that. I'm going to do it all over again. Knock, knock. Hi, I'm Paul. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. And I wanted to let you know that I'm hosting an open house Saturday at noon to 2, just up the road at 123 Main Street.
I we should do it individually.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. Where Keller Williams. And I'm hosting an open house at 123 Main Street, just
Saturday, just down the road.
Saturday from noon to 2.
And I'd like to formally invite you.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah.
And I'd like to personally invite you to the open house.
Personally, yeah. Personally. We could do that. Yeah.
Now,
Are
how
we
hard was
handing
that,
them
everybody?
Are we handing them anything at that point?
Yep. You're handing them a flyer as you say that. And it works like a frickin' charm, let me tell you.
You could also, interested in moving into the neighborhood?
Yes, so they're getting to step 2, which we're gonna do right after the break. Everyone,
Okay.
10 minutes, off you go. We're gonna come back at 33 after.
All right.
Have to finish writing.
Oh, there is a script here.
Is it?
Yeah, on the next page.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go look for a snack.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you keep any snacks around here?
No, I have a half-eaten salad to eat.
Okay, I'd love to have that.
No, I have nuts, so really, if you don't find anything.
There might,
Oh,
Yeah,
I have nuts too.
we
you
all
are
have
with
nuts.
me. We're all crazy.
We all have nuts. So
Jeannie, do you have nuts?
I have lots of nuts if you are what you.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
This is. I've had information.
Well, that's what I thought. I have to ask him about that. No.
Oh heavens, I'm not worried about that kind of stuff, but about, having to new person have the leaves after 3 months.
Oh,
Well, what does constitute a leave? Like you don't have a listing.
maybe.
But you
that's-
have leave, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness sakes. But I think it's.
We talk about too, but. Yeah, and then we just get stressed out and we just.
I feel like you keep it fun.
You
And
know,
try to.
and I am, I am a doer. It's like this weekend, there's an agent knows, and he's going on vacation, and I'm doing 5 showings for his clients.
Wow.
And then I have my own showing, and then, I've done open houses, but not as thorough as what houses. I'm gonna ask the questions because, mostly I come in at the, not the prep right from the beginning,
Oh, yeah.
I would like to go through this whole prep. That's what I would do. I would like to too. I would totally go on all this work if I was. And that's part of the thing, because I
9 minutes is up. I ate a chocolate bar that someone shoved in my face. It was amazing. Let's just run through that script again real quick. Do we have our people via Zoom? Who do we got? Who's here with us? Say your name.
Beth Jackson is here.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited.
Who else we
I
got?
can leave myself off mute and then you guys can see why I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think we get it. No, thank you. All right, so we're gonna door knock once again, and this time I'm literally gonna follow the KW script. I'm going to this time visit Elizabeth at her home. What is Elizabeth doing at home currently?
Watering plants.
Elizabeth is currently watering plants at home.
Hello.
Hi, my name's Paul Olson with the Odd Couple team. I work with Keller Williams, and I'm just at your door today because Alex Jordan has asked me to invite you to the open house on their home at 1990 Ivy, just up the road on Saturday from noon to 2.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so this is your personal invite. Feel free to bring someone with you from work.
I know. Did you say this? Did we read this?
These scripts, I tell you, we just get through it. Feel free to bring someone with you from work or a friend or a relative that might be interested in buying in your neighborhood, okay?
What? That's so weird.
I know, but hey, you live here, you love this neighborhood, right?
Yes, I love it.
Well, would any of your friends, coworkers, or church members also be interested in living in this neighborhood?
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to bring someone with you from work, friend, relative, who might be interested in buying in this neighborhood, okay?
Okay.
By the way, when I find a buyer, I'd like to be able to share with them what people like about the neighborhood. Can I ask you, what is it that you like about this neighborhood the most?
I like, it's a very good community and we all have a lot of events together and potlucks together.
Really?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a great neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, excellent. Well, if you ever chose to move, where would you go next? And when do you think that would be?
I am not
I love
planning
this
on moving.
neighborhood.
I love this neighborhood. I love the potlucks. I'm not moving.
Understood. Well, hey, you'd surely like, I'm off script now. You'd surely like to know what your house is worth at any given time. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay. Coming to this open house would be a great way to gauge how your house compares to the one we're selling. And then you can see the result and make some conclusions about your own value from that. Would that be helpful?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. I'll see you, your family, your friends, and your church members at the open house Saturday from noon to 2. Sound good?
I'll bring the whole congregation.
Bring everybody. We'll have a barbecue in the back. Okay. Awesome.
Good.
Is this in your materials too? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
What I've learned from this, Paul,
Yes.
I will not be using this script.
Yeah. I like
Okay.
ours better.
Well, ours is better because it flows better and
Yeah.
it's short and sweet. And this one makes some assumptions, but it can be modified.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, I have a question about identifying yourself, kind of a marketing thing. Like I noticed you say, my name is Paul. I am with the Odd Couple and I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams. Like, do you have to identify yourself as Keller Williams as well as you identify yourself as a member of your team?
The question is, do you have to? Are you obligated to? It sounds like Jeannie just had some CE where she learned about this.
Yes, oh, we lost our pictures up there.
Shite.
Oh, wait, jump back, listen to you.
Jeannie, take it away.
Okay, I did the CE credits yesterday that Mike Brennan did. And technically what we need to do is to introduce ourselves as Jeannie Nix from Keller Williams Integrity Realty.
Yes.
Because it's identifying, so that's specific, but definitely, the definitely part was me adding that, but
Okay.
you do need to identify Keller Williams, and according to what we learned yesterday, Keller Williams Integrity Realty.
Okay.
So
There you have it, Beth. Straight hot off the press of CE land.
I learned something yesterday.
Yeah.
Jeannie bringing the thunder for our group today. Thank you very much. Do I do that? No. Should I? Yes.
But I hadn't always either. I always said
Most
Keller
don't.
Williams, so I
Yep.
just
And the other thing you're doing by doing that is associating yourself with the sign in the yard 3 doors down too. Hey, I'm part of that team or company or brokerage that actually has business in your neighborhood right now. And you might want access to what I know, right? Because the general public finds out what the sale price is a month later, for example. Well, I'm certainly empowered to go through the neighborhood while it's pending and say, hey, yeah, we got a really good price. Because a lot of people in the neighborhood are going to be coming from a little bit of a scarcity mindset. They're not going to believe the pricing that's going on right now, even though they're hearing what's happening. I see that all the time when I'm interacting with neighbors. They're surprised by pricing right now. And like that condo, I spoke to the neighbor at my open house in a small condo community. He came to my open. He said, how about that price? And I'm like, yeah, what do you think about it? You know, lead with curiosity. Seems high to me. Okay. Oh yeah, he really did.
really.
He really did. Yeah, because there's a lot of comps not long ago at in the 120s in that building. So we were at 159.9 on this condo, and he thought it was really high. And then interacting with the board president after an accepted offer to get the condo docs, she also lives there, and she said basically the same thing. And she's point blank asked me, "What'd you get for it?" And this is a classic example of I can't disclose that to her, but I can satiate her curiosity and try to cultivate a relationship there. So my response was, well, it's currently not closed yet, so I can't divulge the sale price. However, we did very, very well.
You can add, you receive multiple offers.
Yep.
And that would obviously, at least obvious to me, that you did well.
Yes, that's right. At least achieving list price generally. So I don't have any problem with that. Could I be wrong on this? Possibly. You could do some research and verify that, but I've had no issues with that. And it's frankly, it's good news. It's news that they want to hear. So,
Paul,
yeah,
can I ask you a favor?
yeah.
Can you please do like a script for a door knocking, not for an open house, like a regular, like farm door knocking, something like that?
Yes, that's a really good one.
Thank you.
Janet, you're going to be disappointed in me because guess what?
What?
I'm only going to use a script that I can tie to something else I've done in an area or my team or my brokerage. So this is a good little segue and I love it. So in Keller Williams Integrity Realty Roseville, we sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of units around Roseville and St. Paul and everywhere. And there's never going to be a shortage of a listing that you could door knock around that we've recently sold or listed. And that's called circle prospecting, and it does work. I've seen stats in years past from the National Association of Realtors where they've studied the impact in a rising market of circle prospecting. Did you know that any house that's next door to a home that has recently sold is something like, I believe, 12% more likely to sell within a year? I heard that stat a few years ago, and I bet it's gotten worse, or better, you should say, because of the insane quote unquote prices that we're achieving in today's market. They're not insane. I actually think the Twin Cities in general is underpriced because I pay attention to other major metro areas. A starter home, I always have been saying this all year because I have clients in Austin. A starter home in Austin is $700,000. A starter home in St. Paul is $300,000. You know, it's actually a bargain for the quality of our city. And the other thing I've been telling everyone who will listen lately is that I've never seen so many transplants from other cities moving to the Twin Cities as I have in the last, 6 months, honestly. We are now on the map, and part of the reason we're on the map is because we have cheaper real estate. So why not? Why not sell your $780K starter home in Seattle and come get the same thing here for $300 in Como? Why not? So let's tie this back in for you. If I'm going to door knock, not for an open, you better be assured that it's going to be something our brokerage or team has sold nearby, because I need to tie it to some value for them. So I just did this last year. We sold a home in the Midway, and we achieved what at the time was the highest sales price, I believe, ever in the Midway for a normal single family home, non-apartment building. And I was going around delivering the good news. And I think I was on Englewood in the Midway door knocking. And I think I did 80 houses that day. It was in the summer. And my script was very similar to the open house one. Hi, my name is Paul Olson. I'm with Keller Williams, the Odd Couple team. And I'm just going around the neighborhood, seeing if you heard about what we achieved at 1246 Englewood Avenue. By the way, this was months after it closed. And a lot of people answered their door that day. And a lot of people said, no, what do you mean? Oh, well, we sold it 3 months ago. And let me tell you, we got $405,000 in the Midway. Can you believe it? Oh my God. No, I can't. You got 405 for that thing? Yeah. We listed it at blah, blah, blah. There was blah, blah, blah offers, and it went for blah, blah, blah. Can you believe that? No, I can't. Okay, well, great. Well, what do you think your house is worth? And then you go from there. Janet, you could do that with a freshly listed property that anyone in the brokerage took on anywhere you want.
Okay.
You could do it freshly sold. You could do an open house. You could also use an age-old script for a buyer that you have. I've done this a ton of times. I was doing this last year in this little part of Mac called Kings Maplewood. Anybody heard of that?
No.
A tiny pocket of Mac, right? And let me tell you, the average home value there is probably $800K. It's these gingerbread houses that are like 4,000 square feet in a lot of cases, and they're cobblestone streets. It's basically the most charming place on earth. And the owners are what you would typically assume as being kind of like standoffish or snooty, maybe, because it's a very wealthy spot and it's very peaceful over there. So knocking on the door takes a little courage. And I got tons of leads out of it, and everyone was super nice. Okay. If you take one thing out of this class, it's that door knocking, it doesn't have to be scary. I've done it a ton and I hated it at first. But the reason I did it is because I like it better than calling cold. Calling cold is so cheap to me. I feel like I'm selling spatulas from China or something. Calling cold works. Nick Mansur has tremendous success with that, for example, and I see him doing it at our office every single morning. But I'm going on and on, Janet, here. The point is, even the snootiest neighborhoods can be door knocked successfully. I had a buyer there that was looking specifically in that part of Mac, west of Cretin.
Do you think, I'm sorry, well, go ahead.
Here was the
Sorry.
script, Janet, and then I'll let you talk, okay?
No, I'm sorry. I was gonna ask you, is there a good idea to take like a few comparables and just like add your your business card on it?
Memorize them.
Okay.
Memorize the comps and have discussions about it.
Really? Okay.
And anytime you door knock, have a stack of flyers in your hand. That way you're not just some human at the door. You've got some papers. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, I think I might actually answer the door.
Mhm.
No answer at the door, put it in the door. So like that one on Englewood that I was telling you about that we sold, I would have a giant flyer just like the open house one, just sold at the top. Picture of house, address, sales price, my information. Keep it simple. They don't want to read much.
Good. Thank you.
Or for the Kings Maplewood example, the kind of ritzy feeling area that I was intimidated to door knock and everyone was super nice. Buyer need. And then I did put a picture of a random property, a charming house. And then I wrote a paragraph under the picture saying, Matt and Marianne are St. Paul residents who are currently selling their home on Stanford and need more space. They specifically are looking in this area. If you have considered selling, please call, text, or email me. Your information will be kept confidential, and I'd love to chat further about it, basically.
Nice.
So yeah, if you have any buyer right now, you can go to the areas they want to be in and door knock off of that. There's a million excuses to door knock.
Thank you.
I
Good
did.
idea.
You could make it up. I wanted people to know that this was real,
Okay,
not some scheme. So I even said they live on Stanford
okay.
in Mac.
Real people, you don't just.
They were real people.
Okay.
Yeah, they were.
They really wanted to. It was coming, but yeah.
They did, and they specifically wanted that neighborhood. And guess what? I got 2 seller leads out of it, one of which I've been nurturing for the last year. And he's gonna probably move to a condo within the next year or 2. And he's looking from 400 to 600 on the condo, and his house is worth 700K. Come on, that's a 1.3 million off a door knock. Let's do it.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, and he's an amazing guy. I've had him in my car on a couple condo tours, and we just haven't found the one yet. He teaches veterinary science at the U of M. So let's go back to the script. Do we have anyone from Zoom who would be willing to read that script out loud? Don't make me call on you.
You called on us, I think you could call.
I've been abusing my studio audience like crazy. Come on.
I don't have the the script. Otherwise, I will do it.
Okay, Janet, are you ready? Keep your mic live, okay?
No.
Here we go. Repeat after me.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Janet from Keller Williams Integrity Realty,
Hi, my name is Janet with Keller Williams Integrity Realty.
and I'm just at your door today because the Jordans have asked me to invite you.
And I'm just at your door today because the Jordans, what? Sorry.
Yep, have asked me to invite you
Oh, have asked me to invite you
to the open house on 123 Main Street Saturday.
to the open house at 123 Main Street on Saturday.
Yeah, it's from noon to 2. Would you like to stop by?
That's from noon to 2. Would you like to stop by?
Oh, 123 Main Street. Yeah, I just saw the sign go up. Sure, I'd be willing to come by. Now this is your part. Great.
Great, great.
Feel free to bring someone with you from work or a friend or relative.
Great. Feel free to bring someone from work or any relative
Or anyone who might be interested in buying in this neighborhood.
or anyone that might be interested in buying in this neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Sure. What's your name?
My name is Janet Diaz and I'm with Keller Williams Integrated Realty.
Oh, okay. So you guys have that listing down there then, and you're holding it open. Okay, I get it.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that property is one I've driven by 3,000 times. I've been here forever. I'm kind of curious what my house would be worth.
I can help you with that. I can run a comparable in your house.
What does that mean?
Oh my God.
Come on, you're doing A+. You're A+ so far. Let's keep going. How do you know? How can you tell what my house is worth? The Zillow thing says it's only worth 190. That seems low to me.
Well, we can compare the houses that have been sold in the last few months or 6 months. I don't know if I should say 6 months.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that are similar to your house. That way we can get a price, or I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Okay. When would you want to do that? That'd be great.
Yeah, we can do it today.
Oh, you want to just come in?
Yeah, if I have my computer, I will. Yes.
Okay. Well, how about you come back some other time with your computer?
Yes, I will. Then let's plan, like, is 2 o'clock or 4 p.m. works for you?
Boom! Everyone, a round of applause for Janet. You
I'm
said
sweating.
the exact thing I wanted. That was phenomenal. Guess what?
Thank you.
You just
What?
uncovered a listing lead, and this guy's been in the neighborhood forever, and he's going to go buy a condo because he wants
Wow.
less maintenance.
Yeah, nice.
His
That would be
house is
great.
worth 250, and he's willing to go up to 250 on a condo. That's $500,000 in volume for you, Janet.
Wow,
Nice
that's
work.
awesome. Thank you.
Nice work. Great work. Okay, let's continue. Thank you, Janet. So
Thank you.
that was our schedule for the week, and it's not rocket science, folks. We're holding an open house. We want everyone to know about it, so we blast it over the internet. We blast it to our sphere. We door knock to pull more interest. We prepare for it. We run comps. We have in our back pocket some local listings that are comparable to share with people if this isn't the one for them or it's already sold, which is sometimes the case. Let's actually get into the open house itself, right? That's why we're here.
How can you put it back on the
Uh-oh.
No, I think you just.
There we go.
Okay.
It's a loose cord.
Hey, Paul, one question. When do you ideally put the sign in the yard?
The rider or an open house
No,
sign?
the open house, or no, like here, remember we talked about put a sign in the yard on Wednesday.
Yep.
And you felt like that was a little early.
I don't mind Wednesday for a
It's okay.
Saturday. Maybe,
Okay.
yeah.
Fine.
It should, how dare you?
I know.
It should be during the work week though,
Okay,
because that's when people are cruising by.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was, when do I feel comfortable putting an open house sign up in addition to the rider? I would say probably Thursday if it's a Saturday, because I want it fresh on people's minds. Now, before we get into the actual open house, I want to address some discomfort that people might have around door knocking. And I want to tell you how I got through that and give you a piece of advice. So if anyone here is a little bit hesitant to door knock, even though I've shared some successes with you, and I have never had a shotgun put in my face, the worst thing that happens when you door knock is you might see a scary dog. I have had to jump a fence before, but that's exceedingly rare. You know, I've got 12 years in the industry and that was just one. But let's say you have some fear around door knocking, you've never done it. Once again, we need to get to some degree, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And what I did is I was shaking in my boots in the car. I had, you know, a goal of 50 doors and I had 50 flyers and I knew exactly what street I was going to do. I was going to door knock, damn it. I was going to do it. And it was beautiful weather. People were home Saturday at high noon, what have you. And I would drive there and freeze up bad. And you know what I would end up doing? Just flyering and avoiding people in the yard. It's so embarrassing. I swear to God, that's what happened a couple times. And I don't know if it was another realtor's advice or if I just came up with this, but I said to myself, okay, I'm just going to do 5. You know, how do you, yep, Jeannie was thinking that. How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So the 50 felt huge and like, oh my God, I'm going to annoy 50 people, which of course is the exact opposite of why you're there. You're there to provide value. And even the grumpiest people, by the way, warm up very quickly at their doorstep. So that would be my advice is tell someone who can hold you accountable that you're just doing 5. I'm just doing 5, you know, somewhere local that you don't have to spend a lot of time on. And then see if you can do 10. And let's say you freeze up, okay? If you freeze up and you can't do 5, go flyer the doors. And here's the challenge on that one. Do it when people are home, because you're going to force yourself into a situation where they're in the yard. And if you flyer 2 doors and you get to one where they're in the yard, you can't avoid them.
There's no escape.
There's no escape. I did, but you're not going to.
Don't learn from me.
Well, what it was is that was probably a trigger. I felt so pathetic skipping the ones where they were in the yard, and they looked at me, and it's like, I think some of them were thinking, well, where's my flyer? You know, like they wanted to know what I was doing. So in the end, what happens is the veil drops and you realize that it's actually okay. It's like public speaking, you know, if you are phobic of it or terrified of it, and then for some reason you're forced to do it and you survive, the next one gets easier. So just do 5. And if you get through 5, do 10 the next time and work it up. Okay. I'll tell you what, anyone can do 5. Yes, Janet?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, thank you for saying that, how it was for you at first.
Yep.
Because to be honest, I wanna do it, but I feel like I'm scared. But you know, I work at University of Minnesota, and that used to happen to me when I wanted to tell my coworkers that I was a realtor. And then I started like, okay, I have to do it. And I just started with one, and then that one told somebody else, and I gave them my cards. And you know, I've been in that job for a year and a half, and I have 3 clients for that. So yeah, so
nice.
Yeah, and like I remember at first when they used to ask me questions about real estate, I was very nervous. I was like, you know, like it was scary. So now I think the next step that I want to take is this door knocking. And thank you for saying, you know, telling us how it was for you, because that made me like, okay, it was like, you know, scary for you as well, or you know, so then I have to take that step.
And guess what, Janet? Now I can open house or I can door knock no problem. You could put me in your car right now and say, go door knock these 3 random doors, and I do it. It's absolutely effortless. But I was terrified. I really was.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
Absolutely. And I have gotten listings from that too. And I think the most effective ones on that are from advertising the open house. So.
Wow. That's
excellent.
Great.
Thanks for sharing that, Janet. Because yeah, I initially felt like I was annoying people, but you know what happens is you end up having a lot of friendly people, and you realize, oh, I'm not annoying them. Amazing. Everyone's been really nice. The worst thing you get is you knock on the door and it's, yeah. Hi, my name is Paul. I'm with Keller Williams. I want to tell you about the open house I'm doing down the road. No, thanks. Okay. Drop the flyer. Screw you. You're going to read about it then, you know? And then next, Shane Montoya is the founder of the Odd Couple team. And anytime we bring him a horror story about anything that goes wrong, he has the same answer, and it's hilarious. It's next, next, move on. And like, it's not just a funny thing to say, it's actually true. It's like the cure for any real estate anxiety is the next deal that you can put together, because that refills your balloon, so to speak. All right, let's actually host the open. Okay, who's willing to role play a little bit on that one? Well, I guess on Zoom it wouldn't be as effective.
Mimi, I'm volunteering.
Yes, I think she's. I think you're next. Oh, so you and Jeannie are gonna do it?
No.
Why not? You
I'm
just did it.
volunteering you.
You just did it. I gotta find the right sheet here because, okay, I'm the teacher. I'm the freaking teacher. That's what I want to see.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, first, the guide says that I should tell you some cool ideas about how to drive traffic to your open. So for example, you could have a drawing for a gift card or something like that. And you can put that all over the place. In fact, even in the MLS, there's a spot, I think, that says are refreshments being served. And I think you can add language to that, maybe. But certainly on the flyers you generate or the notice that goes out to your sphere or what have you. Offer a gift drawing or, you know, I used to have at my nicer listings pre-COVID, champagne and strawberries. How fun is that? And I got to be a bartender.
Yeah.
You want people to warm up to you, be their bartender. It's incredible what happens. The other thing you could do is have a speaker, it says here. That might be kind of interesting. I don't know about that, but in theory, you could have like a lender there, certainly, you know, people do that. And you could say that the lender is gonna give a 5-minute presentation in the middle of the open house regarding the documents that he or she will need to get you a pre-approval. Because the average consumer has no idea and might benefit from that. And now you've got someone who is thinking about buying, not coming to your open, but they see one of the first steps as being taught in a public place, in a public style setting, and they might be curious about that. Maybe they've had some credit issues and they're, you know, they'd love to ask the lender at the open house how to get it repaired or what a good score is, for example. That happens all the time. So that is an idea that I've never done. I have had lenders there, but it's not been like a speaker. So let's quick cover some do's and don'ts. I've been neglecting the materials here, and some of this is safety related. So examples of do welcome visitors at the door when they arrive. Each and every single one of them. If I had a nickel for every time I heard a buyer that I signed on tell me, yeah, I went to an open house before I met you and the agent just sat there. Well, what a dud. Good thing they didn't end up with that agent. That agent doesn't give a rat's tail about them. So do welcome every visitor at the door. Friendly smile. What I do is I say, hi, I'm Paul. I'm hosting the open house, or I'm the listing agent. Come on in, get in here, check it out. I'll check in with you later. Right? That's just like a quick icebreaker. And oh, I'm off the hook now. They're thinking, oh good, he's not gonna harass me the whole time. He just told me to go look around and I'd see him later. Now I feel much better instantly. Oh, and by the way, he was very friendly, so he's not a creep. Great. So that's how I welcome visitors at the door. Here's some other examples of do from Keller Williams. Do get the house in showing shape. And I completely agree. However, you better know that your seller isn't going to get ticked off if you move their jewelry or something like that, right? So be very careful with that one. A good example of this one is cat and dog food and water bowls. We don't want those showing. Come on, people. Put them in the cabinet and just don't forget to put them back out when you leave. So get the house in showing shape. That means all blinds open, all lights on, every single one. I don't like ceiling fans on. I think it's a distraction. I don't like bathroom fans on at all because it's a weird noise. They should hopefully feel and sense the peace of the property, not some noise running in their head. And you know what? If it's super nice out and there's a weird dog smell in the house, open the damn windows. Get the house ready. Do set out all documents pertaining to the house and a copy of the agency relationships and real estate form. That way you satisfy the state statutes regarding first substantive contact. And do have a check-in sheet. this one for me was a little bit like door knocking at first. I was like, gosh, they're going to think I'm rude for making them check in. Well, guess what? You came to my open house. You want to see the house. This is the one price you have to pay to do it. You have to write your name. And as these two in the audience saw 2 weeks ago, I will actually play it off. I'll even go a step further, which could be, I don't know, that could be some old anxiety for me. I'll usually tell people when they come in, they've been greeted, they're walking around a little bit. I'll get them pretty quick to check in, or I'll get them right away. And I'll say something to the effect of, just write down, just the seller has asked that you check in. We'd like to know who was through the house today. That's so reasonable, right? Fill out as much information as you're comfortable with. And then if they actually write down their information, I'll know that they're a more open book for me to interact with. If they don't write down their information, I know that I should be a little softer on them because there might be some paranoia there. So that's a good first indication of their comfort level and where they're coming from. Once again, as discussed in a previous Ignite, I do not put in, do you have an agent? I want to handle that objection, because that's what it is, in person. It's too easy to just check a box saying that you have an agent when you don't. Okay, and we'll get to that in a bit here. Do have the open house timeline either on the front rider when they walk up or on a sheet in the house. Because the last thing a busy, successful agent wants is for it to go over and make you late for your next thing. Do think safety first, which we'll be getting to. That entails someone close to you knowing exactly when you should be home or checking in. Always having an escape route in mind. And frankly, I really do like the idea of carrying pepper spray. No one needs to see it. And also they say train on your pepper spray. Don't just buy it and stick it in your pocket. Pull it out every so often and disengage the safety so that you know what to do when the time comes and it becomes muscle memory.
Although it only has so many sprays. Like,
Yep. Yep. They don't have tons of sprays in them, so you got to be careful with that. And it says here, do have the right mindset. Now, if people come in and they're negative toward me or, oh yeah, don't talk to me. I can't let them ruin the next people that come in. And that has happened to me. Yeah, we just want to see the house. You know, hand in my face. I've had that happen. Okay, great. Okay, whoa, you know, like, holy crap. What's wrong with you? That's very rare. If that happens, it can't get us down. I had a guy, I think it was at the end of last year, come in. I wanted to punch him. It was so bad. I'm just kidding when I say that, but this guy came in from a for sale by owner 2 houses up the street. He was selling his own house, and he was telling all the people coming in the open, you should come see my house. I had to kick him out. And he was super weird. This guy was unhinged a little bit. He was the kind of guy that you like, you know, something's a little bit different, which is fine, but like you can't do that. So I actually had to put my.
How'd you pick him up? Yeah.
Oh, it was just like I imagine it being just like a drunk person at the bar that has to get cut off. You know, this person is obviously has no idea what he's doing. He's a little unhinged. So it's like, treat him like a drunk or a baby, a 3-year-old. Right this way. Sorry. This is not what this open house is for. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to leave.
So I'm gonna share something that I learned too in one of those classes. I don't remember. If you are doing an open house by yourself, it's always good to bring like a pair of men's shoes and just leave them in the entrance. You know, that way they can, you know, people that is entering into the house, they can see like, oh, it's not just her, there is somebody else because of the shoes.
That's fantastic, Janet. Good for you for bringing that up. And specifically, I like what you said, a men's pair of shoes. I hate that I think that that's so smart. You know what I mean?
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Yep. Yeah, I would say that's a great idea. So let's go over some don'ts. Okay. Get your pen ready. Don't leave any valuables exposed. Speaking of guns earlier, I had a client who had a pistol on the nightstand. And it was sitting there when we did showings.
Oh.
And he was out of town. Oh yeah, just put that in the drawer. Okay. Don't shoot yourself, like jeepers criminy. So like people just, they leave jewelry out, they leave their wallet out, they leave their passport out, bank statements. Just call the client and say, hey, this is sitting out, we're doing an open, can I stuff it in a drawer? Of course. And if you can't reach them, do it anyway, because 9 times out of 10, they'll thank you. The 1 out of 10 that would get upset, I just can't imagine a scenario, like.
That would be a really good thing to prep them thoroughly before
That's
the
true.
open house, though.
That's true.
Don't leave out valuables and blah, blah, blah.
That's a
Like
good
common
point.
sense to some people, but
Well, look at the pistol example.
yeah,
Yeah. So Jeannie brings up a good point. Why isn't that on the calendar thing, the weekly planning thing?
prepping,
Why not prep your clients for what to expect and some tips like hiding valuables so you don't have to touch their stuff? Super. Another don't overdo it if you're serving messy meals or snacks. People will feel awkward.
Like
Yeah.
cupcakes.
Oh my God. All right. So
Cupcakes?
funny story. Which one of you wants to tell the story?
Paul had brought bright green cupcakes to his open house.
Little mini teepees.
Sorry,
no offense.
No, cheap as hell.
Tub cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
have to be cupcakes.
Yeah.
Just lots of sugary.
And
stuff.
about 30 minutes into the open house, maybe 40?
If that, yeah.
Yeah, 20. Somebody coming through, got it hooked, the tape of it or something hooked to his shirt. And they went all over the floor and onto him. Yeah.
Yep, it was a disaster.
And none of them were eaten.
Not a,
Oh, did
no,
he
one,
one?
one
He
guy.
ate one. The one guy ate one, but otherwise they were all trashed. on the floor.
I had to wipe crumbs off of.
And then we were sweeping, we
Off
had
of
to
him.
find a broom and we were sweeping around.
So that sounds funny. Don't overdo it with messy meals or snacks, but I think a sticker on there was
That should be okay normally, right?
a case of cupcakes should be fine, but you just never know. And then, yeah, I guess that's a
I'm
backup
afraid
plan.
I'd be the one to dump them or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Know where
They were
the,
bright green too.
it was horrible. And then the other thing is, example of don't make any assumptions. You can only go on what a lead has given you. Don't put words in their mouth. I am guilty of doing that all the time. Base your conversation with a lead on what they've told you only. Because boy, can it create a weird rift between you if you just make an assumption like I often do. You've got a gal who is, in her 70s or 80s coming through your open house, talking about how she owns a similar house and she's going to sell soon. I should not say, oh, are you looking to get into a condo or a townhome? Which I often do. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes, but sometimes they could get offended by that, I guess.
It's interesting too, not just that, but getting reads on people. I think I'm a good people person, but Elizabeth and Susie and I were doing an open house one day. And then remember, Elizabeth, the next day, someone came back. No, the realtor for someone who had been there the previous day, who we both, all 3 of us thought hated the property. The realtor showed up waiting for her, oh yeah, she wants to put in an offer. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
We never
Was that the
guessed.
ago?
No.
And then another thing, my cultural competence is kind of low. So my Cheryline, who I think most people know on my team, is Indian. And I've been showing her clients And I'll say to her, well, so-and-so does not love that house. And she's like, Beth, you do not know how Indian women, like, we are trained not to show, like, my cultural competence is so low. And that's something that I feel like I really need to work on, because I live in a really diverse community. And I would want to serve, obviously, every person who I could possibly serve. So I need to work on a lot of that. For interpersonal stuff, both like micro and macro.
Yeah. I like that, Beth. And that ties in well with like using what the lead gives you rather than making any assumptions. And boy, are you in the right spot to learn about multicultural diversity, right? Good for you. Another don't forget about safety. Don't turn your back on a prospect. And don't park in the driveway. Why do we suppose we don't park in the driveway?
So they can drive off like it's their house.
So we don't get blocked in.
That's one of them.
Maybe
Yep.
someone needs to park.
Maybe someone else needs to park there later or whatever, like someone who's got a handicap or something.
So you can have a fast escape if you need to.
Fast escape if you have to escape to your car. There's one we haven't hit yet. Beth, you want to take a guess?
Is it the one where you want people to pull in so they feel like, is it you don't want to get blocked in one, or so people pull in and park there so they feel like it's their house? I don't know.
Oh, that's kind of a cool idea. Yeah, I kind of like that. I do that on showings. Well, the one I was thinking about is if you pull in the driveway, they're going to know what car you drive. And they might be able to follow you later or something. If you park on the street, you blend in.
Oh, for safety.
Yep. But those are all really good ones. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so it says here, consider having your own open house success kit so that you can handle any situations that may arise. This would have been good with the cupcakes, including messes that may be in the house when you arrive even. So how much space does an empty trash bag all neatly folded up take?
Yeah.
And how many times have we been in a situation where we'd pay $20 if we just had a trash bag, you know, like I need a trash bag.
Recently, yeah.
Very recently.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea. Maybe paper towels. You could even have contracts in there in case you get a really hot lead. I was telling these two at the open house the other week that, yeah, I have sold a house, or no, that was an Ignite class. I have sold a house at an open where you literally sit down at that table and write up an offer with them. Well, what if I didn't have a purchase agreement with me? What if there's no Wi-Fi? Do it on the computer. So think of some things. Page 11 on your participant guide. Let's see what that shows you there. Open house success kit.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, there's some ideas on that. Pens, air freshener, tissues, trash bags, measuring tape, extra business cards. We always run out of those when we least expect it. So let's cover the main body. We're getting close towards the end of the class here. When someone comes into the open, we do a friendly greeting. Let's see. Ooh. Oh. And our goal is to build rapport. And that should go as a given with anyone we encounter in a real estate context. The more a person knows about you, the more they like you, the more they trust you. That is the key to winning business, is getting people to like you. And that process starts from the first 2 seconds you meet someone. You make eye contact, you greet them at the door at an open, and you've got just a handful of seconds to make your first impression. And you want it to be really soft and warm, in my opinion. We've all been to open houses as consumers. We can relate probably to what they're feeling. They're feeling like, oh, I'm drawn to this house, and there's going to be a realtor in it, and they're going to talk my ear off or ignore me, one of the two. So let's not talk their ear off and prove to them right away, in my opinion, that they're going to have some freedom. I think that's the way you get them. You greet soft and kind. You introduce yourself. You might ask them to check in, but you let them know that they're free to roam this house and that you'll follow up with them. So do have guests sign in. So here's an opening script, real simple. I'm just making it up when they walk in, if you really want them to sign in right away. Hi, welcome to the open house. I'm Paul, I'm the listing agent. Come on in. Shoes go there. Here's a little hand sanitizer if you'd like. What's your name? Oh, Susie. Thanks for coming. Look, the seller has asked me to have all guests today that are going through the open house sign in on this sheet. Go ahead and just write your name there. Here's a pen. And if you'd like to put your email address on there, oh, why do you need my email address? Sometimes you'll get that. Don't worry, we're not going to spam you or sell your information. The main thing I do with the email address is I just keep people posted on the status of the sale. Now, that's an objection that I just overcame very softly and easily, that no one would ever take the wrong way. Because they're there because they're interested in the house. And it's our goal to find out why. But the fact that they bothered to get dressed, go out the door, get in their car and come to the open house, come on. They have a purpose. And signing in to get updates about the status of the sale is something that 99% of them will be willing to do. And then if they say no, I'm sorry, I'm just not comfortable. Okay, no problem. Dive into the house. I'll check in with you later. And once again, that's a great indication of how I treat them later, because they're going to be very sort of, we're going to want to treat them with kid gloves, so to speak. So then we get into the qualification of leads. So I usually let people roam about, and they'll either come back to where I am in the front area and linger a little bit, which is great, or they'll try to bolt out. And sometimes they succeed because you're busy with other people. They escape. And you know what? They probably would have been, the people who are determined to bolt probably aren't great leads anyway, because they're so against interaction with a realtor that it'd be an uphill battle. But you see it in open houses all the time where people kind of linger as they go, and it's like they kind of want to talk, or they'll just straight up come right up to you and ask you a question. A lot of the time nowadays it's about the market, or they're asking you if you have, how many offers you have on the table, right? So this is our moment where we can ask probing questions. And we've already done a little bit about that with that by scripting the door knocking. Things like, where do you live currently? What brought you to the open house today? That one is gold, because it really sets the stage. It's like a choose your own adventure book where you've got the options in front of you. That's what that question is like. Now I know what course to chart with this person. Well, we live in the neighborhood and we're just curious what homes are selling for in this area. Or, yeah, my nephew is looking in this area and we're very familiar with the area. We used to live here. Now we live in Shakopee, of course, but we had our first house here and we're looking for our nephew. Okay, interesting. Might not be a nephew at all, actually, or it might be. So what are some other things you've heard at open houses at this point? What brought you to the open today? Go ahead and speak up, Zoom, if you want. Gee.
This is more general, but, ask open-ended questions rather than a yes or no question. And
Absolutely.
Which is what, what you've suggested, fits the bill for that, but it's really easy to say yes or no and they're done.
Yep, Jeannie makes a great point. Avoid yes, no questions and take a genuine interest. If you're robotic about it, they'll sniff that out in a second. Oh, he's just trying to sell me something, or, oh, he's just trying to, get by, let's say. Because some realtors, you go in their open house and they're very just like in the corner, working on something else, watching a YouTube video, and then eventually they'll get their ass out of the chair and lumber over to you and, hey, so what brings you in? Like, you don't care. No, care. Be enthusiastic. If you act enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic, right? That's what Mo Brown always used to say at KW. Anybody else have any common responses that they would bring up? What brings you to the open today?
Or do you live in the area?
Want to say that again?
Do you live in the area?
Yep,
Do you
that's
live
another great
around
one.
here? Or are you looking in the area?
Mhm. Yep. That might seem like an obvious question. Are you looking in the area? But it gets them talking.
What types of homes have you been looking at?
Yep. What have you seen out there? You know?
Yeah.
Oh man, well, they start talking at that point. Or they'll let you know they just started, which is a huge indication of how you can treat them. If they just started, they're like little lambs. They haven't been sent through the meat grinder that this market is yet. Do you currently own a home? That's another huge one. Oh, whereabouts? And then you just get them talking. You're greasing the skids, as they say. Another great one, which once the conversation is flowing, not right out of the gate, is have you spoken with a lender? That's another huge qualifier. Now that's kind of a yes/no question, but it is a crucial question because the ones who have said yes, they're usually going to say one of two things. It's either, yeah, we have a guy we've used a lot and we're going to go with him, or yes, I am pre-approved through Bell Mortgage. In both cases, that's, or the answer is no. If they've already talked to a lender or have one that they're going to use, that's a good sign because it means they're motivated. If they're already pre-approved and they don't have a realtor and they're out at your open house, that's at least a B buyer, but probably an A, because to bother scrounging up all your financial information and applying for a loan, I mean, it's not fun. It's not easy. It can be embarrassing for people. That's a serious buyer. So these are examples of probing questions, and the answers allow us to identify their willingness. I would not say that what we're trying to do is overcome any objections at this stage. That comes later when we're trying to sign them on as a client. Our focus at the open is to sort of add excitement and value to their home search. And we can add value most succinctly when we understand where they're coming from. So a very easy example is, oh yeah, we live 3 doors down. We can't believe the prices. We want to see the house and we're thinking of selling within the next 5 years. Well, my God, they just told you that they're a seller and they're essentially interviewing you and they're going to watch the result that you achieve on this house. If you knock it out of the park or even sell for anywhere near a list price, they're going to be quite impressed with you, whether it's easy or not in their mind. You got the deal done. You got it closed. That is a hot, hot lead. And you wouldn't believe how many times I've heard someone say within the next 3 or 5 years, usually it's an odd number, and you close them and do the deal that year, that very same year. It's extremely common because, and that usually indicates that their guard is up a little bit too. So let's go to a real world example of this, where we were at an open house on Ivy and a very talkative, chatty, hilarious gal came in who currently lives in a townhome and wants to get the hell out of her association and buy a single family home. She's burnt out on associations and she was so fun to interact with. We all loved her and she fell in love with these two. So I'm going to turn it over to them because I earlier referred to this person as an A-, I think, lead.
Yeah.
Are you in shot? Oh.
Yeah.
So gals, what the hell happened?
Well, we called her on Monday.
Let's preface this by saying, we were talking about, we were gonna bring cinnamon rolls
Mhm.
Yeah.
to our appointment. We'll go get together and
Yeah.
what do you like? You know,
What
I
kind of
mean, and
pastries?
she
You
was,
provide the coffee.
she
We'll
was
do.
giddy. Yeah, we said, put the coffee pot on, we'll bring the cinnamon rolls. 'cause
She was
said
so
she likes
excited.
cinnamon.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
said,
it got that far.
yeah, she's like,
Mhm.
I haven't laughed and talked to people like this in so long, and it's so nice. Like, this feels like talking to my kids.
Yeah,
Like, that's how excited she was.
Mhm.
we got her info.
Yeah, and so we called her 2 days later or something.
Yep. We left a
And
message, she didn't answer.
then she
Mhm.
called
So
me back.
we were both on the line and we referred to our that it was so pleasant meeting her and that we were both talking and we talked about the cinnamon rolls again.
You left that message?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And that I work at Penzies part-time, and so I got her Penzies cinnamon, just so I was gonna bring that to the
Ah.
appointment.
That's phenomenal.
And no, I didn't tell her that, but I was just gonna show up with that, with the cinnamon rolls. And then,
But then
so
she called
her
me the
back,
next day,
and I
she
was at
called
work.
on my phone.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, I just loved your message. It was so nice hearing from you. I had to listen to it twice because it made me
It made me
smile.
smile when I heard your
Aw.
voice.
And she was like, yeah, but I didn't mention this at the meeting, but I did have an agent, or a Edina Realty agent that I was working with, who I happened to contact that morning. And I worked with her 4 years ago, and I happened to contact her that morning. And she didn't reply to me, but then she did reply to me the next day. And so now I feel like I should go with her. And so I went on to say, oh, I understand. Have you signed anything with her? No. And I was like, okay,
Perfect.
know that you don't, in that situation, you don't owe her any obligations to work with her. I said, we loved meeting you and we would be happy to work with you, something like that. And I said, but I understand if you already have a working relationship with her. And I said, well, and she's like, yeah, so I would love to have you come, but and look at my house, but I don't want to inconvenience you or something. And I said, no, that we are never, you're never inconveniencing us. It's never, I don't know. Yeah, we'd still love to come and we'd love to talk with you and stuff. And she's like, okay. And I said, well, why don't you let me know if you change your mind?
When was this?
A
Must have been a week ago.
ago.
Have you heard back?
No.
You have to call her today.
Okay.
You do.
That's it. We're planning on getting back to her.
Today.
But we didn't know.
Is it too late?
Never,
Okay.
never too late.
We
And I
didn't know
wanted
the
to give her time.
We wanted to give her a little time to think about it.
That's fair. And so do we know what our plan's gonna be when we call her back?
No,
No,
help us.
let's do it.
It's very clear what you should do.
Okay.
Jeannie, you wanna chime in on something?
No, I'm just that, agreed. This is your,
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Can we role play it?
sure.
Okay.
So what was her name?
Robin.
Robin.
That's right, Robin. Ring, ring.
Hi. You do it.
Okay.
You're
the
Robin.
agent?
You're Robin.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, Robin.
Yes.
Hey, this is Susie. Remember we met at the open house on Ivy Avenue
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks
How
ago?
are you?
We had such a great time, remember?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay,
How are you
great.
doing?
Me too, yeah, doing great. I've been thinking about you, and you know what? I know that you were talking about the agent with Edina before, and I totally understand that. You've got some loyalty there, that's great. I'm sure she appreciates it. But I just can't live with myself if I don't offer you an opportunity to interview our team to see where we're different. Because Robin, you'd be amazed at the different approaches to this business. And this is a huge decision for you. And you want to go with the best that you can get. So I don't mean to unload all that on you right now, but I just wanted to plant that seed in your ear today that we still would love to come over. Guess what, Robin? I even have a can of spiced cinnamon here for you that I got from the store, and I'd love to give it to you and chat again and have some laughs. Would you want to chat about that further and about why that might be a good idea?
Yeah, actually. That's what she does. Yeah.
She says that.
Yeah, she does talk. And then she could say, well, it depends on what she says. If she's,
Yeah.
when
She was
she's done
so
with this
chatty,
filter.
even on the phone. I could tell she wanted to talk to me.
She loves you too. So I can almost
Wow.
guarantee that if you do this exact phone call, the answer will be yes. And then you'll get an audience with her. You will go over there. She will let you come over. She really enjoys you. And I honestly think she's still an A-.
I know, we haven't rolled her out for sure.
No, don't. Until her house is listed on the open market, don't rule her out. And so then you can word it however you want.
Well,
But
that was good.
the point is that she owes it to herself
Mhm.
to interview more than one realtor.
Mhm.
Yeah, Robin, I always tell everyone, even if they have an agent that they've used and they love them, it's still a really good idea to interview at least one or two other teams
Okay.
to see how they do business.
Okay.
And if you encounter any resistance, you always can go to, this is a big decision. It's a big asset. It's one of the biggest financial transactions of your life. You want to make sure that you have the best people working for you.
Mhm. Okay.
So
You want that
don't,
connection.
oh, you have it. You have
But I
it.
mean, could I say that? I felt like we had a good,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, that's called positive reinforcement.
we had a great connection and I feel like,
We get along we get along so well, right? And we'd be honored to work with you. And you know what, Robin? It is not a waste of our time. We do this all the time. Sometimes we don't get it,
Yeah.
you know?
And then remember Elizabeth's design background, and we were gonna come and look at your townhouse and maybe think about how you could stage it.
Right. Robin, even if we don't end up working together, at least this way you get some helpful advice on the staging from Elizabeth,
Yeah,
and you get a second opinion of value on the house.
okay, there you go.
Because Robin, you could have 5 different realtors through here and you'd get 5 different prices. You know, you get 5 different opinions.
Okay, so then say we get the appointment,
Mhm.
then what do we turn up with CMA,
You do a light one first
do a light one?
so that you have something to point to and you show.
Yeah, because we have, and we have the forms ready.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely come with a light CMA. It takes 5 minutes
CMA, okay.
so that you can point to certain things and know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
But half the reason you're there is to see it in person so that you can compare it more accurately and generate a real CMA,
Okay.
which is your way into a follow-up appointment. So whenever we go on a listing appointment where we're not sure, where we don't think we're going to sign them on, and this is a great example, we're trying at that appointment to get the next one.
Okay,
And that's when we try to close them.
okay.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
if you can squirm your way in there, as I'm suggesting you do, the odds of you listing her on there are slim, very slim.
Okay.
You're there to further show her your value and the rapport.
Okay,
And you're there to get the next appointment.
okay,
The easiest way to do that is, okay, now I've seen your property and now I can do a really accurate market analysis for you. And I'll be doing that after we leave here today. Or I'll be doing that on Monday. Say it's a
Okay.
Sunday. Say it's a
Yeah.
Sunday when you do it.
It's a light CMA.
Just a quick snapshot of the surrounding community and the values in the recently sold.
Then what would be the next one? Oh, that, just the actual comparisons of 2 bedrooms and 3 baths and
Yep.
whatever else, more detailed.
Dial it in from there. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and the point of the light one is to say, look, I don't have all the information, which is part of why I'm here.
This is what we can do for you.
Yeah, and part of what I would love to do for you is a really in-depth market analysis to give you a very confident opinion of your value. And perhaps little do they know that that entails another visit. And maybe based on the way it's going, you don't let them know that until it's done. And you call them up and you say 4 days later, hey, you know what? I did a deep dive on your value. The results are surprising. Carrot, carrot, carrot. I'd love to take 30 minutes and stop by tomorrow at 4 and show you what I found. It's really good. What do you say? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean? Well, I was able to tour your house. And now I have a very good idea of what we're working with. And I'd really like to share that with you. Yeah. You are not out of the ballpark on that one. Hey, sorry, you guys, we did a deep dive there. Was that coming through okay?
No, they're off. They're like, forget that.
Yes, yes, it was.
Oh, Janet, did you get anything out of that, Janet?
Yes, I love everything that you we're talking, and I think you two should call this lady, and you are gonna get that listing.
Yes.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe
Yes,
the
good
report
luck.
they know what they're doing.
And she's
Good
certainly
luck.
seems so nice that she's not going to slam the phone down or.
No, she's so nice. She didn't even want to hang up when we were talking.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So if nothing else, you'll meet a really nice person, but it sounds like there's a lot.
And you know
I
what?
was
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was listening to that and it really helped me too because I actually had a lead come in and I went to high school with her, but she was kind of working with a realtor that had worked with her dad before. And I reached out to her this morning just to kind of check in after our conversation about whether or not she's properly being represented by this realtor. And so it just really motivated me to kind of go back out and I felt kind of defeated after she told me that she's going to stick with this realtor this morning. But this whole conversation just really motivated me to reach back out to her and push for a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Lidra, they always offer up some resistance, don't they?
yeah.
And some of them you're not going to get no matter how good you are. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be how good you are. It has to do with, you know, they don't have the courage to break that other relationship
Yeah.
or what have you. Yeah. And some people, as Susie is saying right now, are so nice that they don't want to kind of like tell you no and hurt your feelings. So it'll end up dragging on a bit. But
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion, Lidra, your mileage may vary, that even if they're mostly gone, if they're stringing you along, you still have a shot at least.
For sure. And it was more so like her dad's loyalty that kind of was convincing her to stay more than anything. So
Tell you what, Lidra, that agent might end up bungling the job. And then there you are to pick them up.
yeah. So I told her I'm keeping the door open and I'm always here. So
Perfect. Good work. Well, we are approaching the end of the class. Let's just dedicate a small amount of time to lead follow-up. Anyone here use a CRM? Client retention,
Client relationship management.
Client relationship manager. Command has it built in. So if you use Command and you know what you're doing there, I don't, but that's an example. I use Boomtown.
Is that what your whole team uses?
Yep.
Boomtown?
Our whole team uses Boomtown. And a lot of the good CRMs, including Command, have a touch campaign, a drip campaign. You can choose to use that if you choose, if you wish. I don't. And my teammates give me crap about this all the time, but I outsell them. I do it manually. I drip on people manually because I'm a very personable human. But I do know that drip campaigns do work. Most of them are email based. And all they're doing is keeping you top of mind. Even if they're just deleting it without reading it, you're still showing up in their feed, so to speak, right? So, no worries. If you don't use a CRM and you don't use a drip, you just do it manually, right? And so here's what you do. Anytime you see an article from SPAR or from the brokerage or anything interesting about the market or about a stat that captures your fancy, you're going to blast it out to your sphere. Hey, I just wanted to share this interesting thing. Did you know that showing activity in March so far in 2021 is 14% higher than 2020? Or did you know that the average sales price in Roseville so far in 2021 is up 8% over 2020? You live in Roseville, right? Let me know if you'd like a free, no hassle market analysis on your home. I do it every day for folks. It's quick, it's easy, and it beats the snot out of a Zillow's estimate. That's how you drip on people. And you can do it once a month. You can do it every other month. But the point is you're adding value to their lives. Here's another really good one. Seasonal tips. So at the first frost, or approaching the first frost, you remind people to cover or transplant their vegetables or what have you, their flowers, I don't garden. Perennials, whatever. Or in October, you remind people, hey, did you forget something? Are your water spigots turned off? We wouldn't want those to freeze and rupture and flood your basement. Or it's heating season. It's getting cold. When was the last time you changed your furnace filters? Here's a friendly reminder. Just crap like that. Happy birthday. Have everyone's birthday in your CRM or Excel spreadsheet. Honestly, guys, I just have my entire database in a Google Doc, Excel Google Doc. I also use Boomtown as a CRM, but not as much as I should. And I'll go through it every so often and just, oh, haven't touched them in a while. And these are mostly past clients because I didn't have much of a sphere 4 years ago. I had to build it from scratch, and part of how I did it was open houses because they're a gold mine. So this is the final little stretch of the class today. Who has any comments about what works well for them or any questions to publish to the group? Speak up. Let's go.
I just have one question about open houses. Do they ever
Susie.
leave? I mean, I imagine after an open house, it can be pretty messy.
You mean physically?
Yeah. I mean, what kind of shape do you feel like you have? I mean, do you ever have to like clean up, or is it not that bad?
Mainly it's salty shoes.
Okay, do we have to like sweep and clean up and?
I have washed them with my tears and dry them with my hair. That's not fun.
Just leave.
No, yeah, always paper towels somewhere, right? There's always a paper towel.
Okay, so you do kind of about that.
Yeah, paper towels are probably the most useful thing you can have at an open house.
Okay, and they move stuff around. I noticed that that some of the furniture was kind of like, hey, stay here. I mean, just, yeah.
Yeah, it was so crowded.
Yeah,
that people.
So I just wondered about that. And then they leave the lights on or off. Maybe they'll tell you what they do.
Yeah, I usually have a policy of lights on all the time.
Okay.
Honestly, you guys, I've had sellers ask me daily to shut the blinds at night. And if I can pull it off, I will. Because then I'm keeping my eyes on my listing, usually a vacant. Mm-hmm. There's always traffic nowadays. So it's like, okay, is it messy in there? Should I sweep up a little?
Okay.
Yeah, if I've got a vacant listing and it's not selling, I will stop by once in a while, just to check on it. Like that condo we did, I'm checking on that a lot to make sure it hasn't been broken into. By the way, I didn't open on Saturday. 2 homeless people in the stairwell.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they were rough, so I canceled it. Canceled the open, and then I immediately turned around, went all the way around and up the back stairwell to check the unit, and it was fine. So
you saw that as you were coming to do the open and then
yeah,
canceled it?
It's a condo.
Uh-huh.
And man, the smell was horrific.
It was when you walked.
And there was crap everywhere. Like that's
including a half-eaten donut.
Yep. So this is a very handy toolkit item too, right? Anybody on Zoom have any comments or questions?
I do have a question, but it's not related to the class. Can I ask you something? Yeah. Okay, so do you know something about asbestos?
A little bit.
I have a client that wants to make an offer on one property, but it's they said that they did like a environmental consulting about asbestos, and it has some results like one of the rooms on the basement. It says that has 5%.
So you have a buyer client who did an environmental test in a basement of a house they're buying?
Yeah, he's gonna buy the seller did the environmental consulting. And
Really?
he put it on the seller, like where the seller's disclosure is.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and I'm reading it, and it says like 5% in one of the rooms, and it's like called like chrysotile, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Floor tiles or chimney or heating lines.
I don't know. It's like results in one of the rooms is not non-detected, and then the
Okay.
second one is like 5%, and it's like chrysotile.
Yeah.
It's like CHRYSOTILE. I don't know what does that mean. So that's what I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I should ask him, like
Well,
taking advantage.
Janet, this is a great example of something that's above our heads. We're not experts in asbestos or environmental remediation. This pops up a lot with the same answer that I'd give on structural questions. I sold a house in West St. Paul once where the main support beam in the basement was scorched. There had been a fire and half of it was missing. And everyone was asking me, is this safe? I cannot answer that. You know, I need a structural engineer, and that's what I got.
Perfect.
So sorry, we can't be experts at everything, Janet.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to put you in this situation. I just wanted to know if maybe you know. I know nothing, so that's like maybe.
No, it's a great question, and it's a perfect example. Some of the other stuff as you get deep into lending, like your clients will ask you questions about qualifying for a bridge loan, and the lender said we had to move this and this, and what does that mean? Hey, best to just talk to your lender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But thank you.
Because we could get in trouble that way. Yep, you got it.
Yes, I agree.
You got it.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming to class.
Thanks.
Everybody.
That's
That's it for
you.
me. Got through another Ignite.
You were
This is my last one. Yeah. But if anybody, thank you so much. If anybody wants, I'm Paul at theoddcoupleteam.com. Paul at theoddcoupleteam.com.
Thank you so much. I enjoy your classes a lot. Thank you.
We love having you, Janet. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Yeah, to tell you what.